Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
It is Friday. Oh, yeah. And it feels like summer out there. The good thing is now the grass is going to start to grow. Golf courses are going to be just absolutely, positively incredible within the next couple of weeks. I feel almost certain of that. And today is the return of one Brett Norsworthy. Stats comes to us from the, I guess you would say, the Family Leisure Studios.
Oh, for sure.
In Forest City.
Yeah, High Top Rose Lane and Broadway, the Family Leisure Studios.
And
yes, sir.
While you were gone, I mean, so much has happened.
Yeah.
So
Dave,
much has occurred.
I really hate to come back under these circumstances with you dormy in the hockey picks.
I'm dormied, huh? Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, totally dormied? So why should I even bother picking?
You went 0-4 in the last round. I went 3-1.
That is astounding. And really, the way you did
today
it,
in the golf picks.
Didn't you throw darts? Oh, I know. I took a bagel. I know. I already saw that.
The bagel. I mean, I hate to come back under these circumstances. You want to do the open over again, Dave? We don't have to do it like this. So we don't have to do this to you.
Oh, yeah, here's what I could do. I could go, it's great, it's Friday. Oh, and Brett's back. Darn.
Well, yeah, you could. And you're right right about the warm nights. We're going to start some growing. But since we've come on the air, the Cubs have turned it around on you.
Well, they
5-4 Cardinals.
Oh, it's 5-4 last I saw. I mean, ESPN's got it one behind. 5-3 is what it said with a man on third, so that run scored 5-4. Here come the Cubs. They need to do something.
I promise you Alcantara scored. Not exactly Ferguson Jenkins against Bob Gibson today in the pitching matchup on the north side, is it?
No, not at all. Although Hendricks was supposed to start, you told me he's a scratch, right?
Scratch until tomorrow.
That is good. That is really good. Obviously, Drew is gone. Gabe Kuhn filling in, at least today. And
Gabe doing a radiothon today. Let's go to the tote board.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with when it's Kuhn and you. This is really ganging up. This is 2-1. This is Cardinals.
Oh, we're not going to do you like
against
that.
the Cubs 2-1.
We're not going to be like that.
Oh yes. Gabe? Oh, Gabe will. Absolutely. There's no question in my mind.
Well, I mean, we're not like you. We don't have to bring it up every time. We don't have to rub it in every time we get a chance. We're
going to go high road. I'm so glad to see people
best fans
at Wrigley
in baseball
Field today. To see Wrigley Field stoked, packed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's packed.
First time this year for this game.
First time this year, and the Cardinals, the game I was at Wednesday night would be the last limited capacity when they come back from this roadie. It's going to 100%. All of baseball practically will. Toronto still slow not to because of the Canadian government. They're going to be in Buffalo a little longer than they even anticipated. But it was about 60% full at Busch Stadium Tuesday and Wednesday night. I had never seen it that empty at games.
That's true.
But it was fun to see people. It was fun to be at the ballpark after missing last year, and still a good team in Cleveland. And I love Terry Francona, but boy, he doesn't look good. Dave, did you see him? He was in a walking boot, and he's had some health maladies, and he made a pitching change. And I'm not kidding you. The rest of the game didn't take as long as it took for him to get out to the mound.
He
and
limped
back to the
out
dugout.
there, huh? Oh, I hate that.
I mean, he was dragging.
I'm with you. I am a Terry Francona fan. I've always been
big fan.
A big fan of his.
Thought he was done horribly bad in Boston on the way out.
Oh, no question. Terrible.
Releasing medical records. That was Sports Talk Radio that did that. Disgraceful to do it to somebody that was one of the chief engineers of breaking the most fabled curse in the history of sport.
He was fantastic. He was done wrong. I totally agree. And he's doing a great job in Cleveland. Unfortunately, they're in the same division as the Chicago White Sox, who I've got a feeling are really a pretty darn good team.
Injuries are mounting up for the Southsiders, but I think really good, and you see the development across their system in the minor leagues, and the Cardinals don't have that at all. I was at AutoZone Park last night, 11-zip loss for the Redbirds. And they can't help it. It's not their fault. They play with the hand that they're dealt. But this is the worst Redbirds team I've seen since AutoZone Park opened.
You know what? I've been to 2 games. I would have to agree. I think this is the most anemic team. And what have they've lost 5 in a row now, right? I think that's right.
They're scuffling. Lost a doubleheader on Wednesday. Lost again last night. And 11-zip. Never even challenged. There's not a single.
Well, they only had 2 hits. There's last night, right?
Oh, and one was CNI single. Now it was a group effort, but one was CNI single, and one was in the 8th or 9th inning. So it was very late with the second one. I stayed to the end, and it was the bitter end, too. I was going to ask
you if you did really and truly stay to the end. So I do want to.
I never leave early.
I want to ask.
I've been to 4 games, and I've never leave early.
I want to ask you about your experience. I know it was only 60%. You had put on Twitter a video of, and I think you just entitled it "People." And it was
at Ballpark Village.
At Ballpark Village.
I wanted to hug everybody.
In a sports bar. You went around, and nobody but was bothered at all by you.
Videoing them. Kind of down in their Supreme nachos to one couple. I went back later and apologized to them. But, Dave, I know I'm being I'm exaggerating here. It's extreme hyperbole here. You remember when the wall came down in 89, 90, and there were people crossing at the Brandenburg Gate, chanting freedom, freedom.
Right.
I felt like it at the ballpark Tuesday and Wednesday night. Felt like it last Saturday in Oxford at baseball. It was fun to be at AutoZone Park on Sunday and last night. Tomorrow we'll make 6 baseball games out of the last 8 days for me.
Wow.
Or as my middle nephew said, it's Brett's comeback tour. It's like Brett like Elvis in Hawaii. I'm back out with the pandemic behind me, and of course losing my mother, and ready to live again and be out. And tomorrow I'm going to Fayetteville to see the Razorbacks and NC State.
I was going to say I'm surprised you're not going to Arizona.
I couldn't make it work, and a lot of people are. You go through Twitter today, and all the Ole Miss fans that are in airports in Memphis, Dallas, and Houston trying to get out there to the games and texted with a lot, and I just couldn't pull the Tucson thing, but I can make it to Fayetteville tomorrow, and I've never been to a game at Baum Walker. I've only been to one Razorback baseball game in my life, and I live 400 yards from the right field fence the whole time I was at Fayetteville.
Wow.
I went one time to see Roger Clemens pitch for Texas. That was it. I went one game.
Baseball wasn't quite as big when you were in college.
Dave, it's not.
For me. You know what? SIU had good teams. Yeah, good teams.
And you did games, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did a few. So
we just didn't. But I would say, except for LSU and Mississippi State, I'm going to speak for the 80s and into the early 90s. Nobody went. Nobody went at Fayetteville. Nobody went at Oxford. Nobody went at Tennessee in the 70s, a little more, because they had Rick Honeycutt, Phil Garner, Tommy West, Condridge Holloway. Senator Bob Corker was on those teams. He was a reserve player. Did I say Rick Honeycutt? I think he did.
He did.
Maybe a few more, but nobody went in Oxford. Nobody went in Fayetteville late 70s, 80s, and now it's boom time. It's making money, and it matters.
Early 70s, there was right behind the first base dugout. There was a hill in Carbondale where there were big crowds, and they would really get on the opposition teams and yell mean things. And it actually, baseball was wasn't as big as basketball was, but it was pretty big.
In this area, late 70s, early 80s, Bobby Kilpatrick and the University of Memphis, then Memphis State, had a much better program than anybody in the neighborhood.
Isn't that something? Yeah. And those facilities, which are now – they're okay. I think they're going to get better. They were state of the art, really. Even when I first got here in '81, you went.
Nat Beering was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was, Dave.
It
was, and now everybody's got just these shows. Sitting in Oxford last Saturday at the FSU game, just looking around and seeing all 11,000 tomorrow at Fayetteville. One of the tougher sports tickets in the history of Arkansas Razorback sports, because I think they're going to try to squeeze in 12 to 13,000, but there's just so much room. They could sell 40,000 tickets for tomorrow, and basketball has 18,000, football now has 75,000, so that makes it tough. And and everybody wanting to go. You watch those games against Nebraska for the Razorbacks on TV. It was just elbow to elbow. There you couldn't have wedged in another soul.
Oh no, I think you're going to have a ball because you will get to see a real happening. That atmosphere in Fayetteville. I have a friend whose daughter actually is going to. She's a student coming back because she's off now. She's going back just for this this game, and I think it'll be terrific. Since you mentioned football, how about this? This is incredible. So when the story broke about the 12, which was a couple of days. First of all, it actually broke earlier in the week, Pete Thamel, but then it was basically intensified yesterday when it was reported that the College Football Playoff Committee to the Management Council next week in Chicago is going to recommend a 12-team format. We know the format. The 6 best-rated conference champions are in. The next best 6 by rankings are in. So several people have gone back and looked to see the way it would be.
Oh, yeah.
And in 2019, ladies and gentlemen, the University of Memphis would have been the 12 seed playing Georgia in
between
the college
hedges.
Football playoff game. It would have been between the hedges. How exciting would that have been in 2019? They were.
I don't know what would have happened, but the Tigers would have stacked up pretty good that day.
Well,
I know what happened against Penn State, but right. I know motivation would have been largely different for everybody. Yeah. But
you know what?
But let's play ball. We find out.
Hey,
that's what's good about it.
I'm going to tell you right now, Memphis was in that game in 2019 against Penn State.
Very much so.
Until the very end. Until, honestly, Brady White tried to make a play and gave up the ball deep in their own zone. If they were on the move to try to take the lead in that game.
And Michael Parsons was off the charts.
Oh, yeah. Penn State would have been a 10 seed that year, by the way. So that would have been another playoff team that Memphis could have played and won that game. They didn't, but they could have. They were competitive, and they would have been with Georgia. That is just so exciting to me. You know that last year it would have been Cincinnati as an 8 seed and Coastal Carolina as a 12 seed. Pac-12 wasn't going to get a team in the playoff. Now,
and we saw the Cincinnati Georgia game, but again, motivations would have been very different for everyone.
Right, that would have been the 8-9 game. Yeah,
and Cincinnati was very competitive back to 2014. Ole Miss would have been in. Mississippi State would have been in. Dave, it's going to be so much fun, and we've got just a great summertime topic that has real meat and potatoes to it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it with several guests today. But what's great about it, 1 through 4, well, if you're seated there, you have the bye. You know you're real good and in the mix there. But 5 through 8's real good because that means you host at home, and that will be the biggest game ever at those stadiums. That's bigger than any rivalry game. That's bigger than any October matchup game. 5 playing 12, 6 playing 11, 7 playing 10, and 8 playing 9. That will be the biggest home games those places have ever hosted.
Oh, my goodness. They'll be incredible. I mean, it will be astounding, and how people are worried about interest and lack of the way the regular season plays out, but you're going to be angling to try to get into a championship game that'll get you into a playoff. And that includes Coastal Carolinas of the world.
For sure, Dave. And imagine a road win in any of those, 5 versus 12, or all those scenarios. You win on the road there. It's grown men crying in the stands over that win. And I mean, you go out and dig up sod and put it in a plastic bag and take it home with you.
By the way, if you go back 17, 18, 19, and 20, in every one of those 4 years, by this new deal, there would be an American Athletic Conference team that would be in the playoff.
Deserved.
So when you go to fall camp and Ryan Silverfield says, guys, we can play for the national championship. We can be in the playoff. He's not lying because his conference has had, by the way this formula is working, in the last 4 years there would have been a American team including Memphis in 19, the year they went to the Cotton Bowl. So I just think it's some of the greatest things you could have had. There's no question in my mind.
And this will expedite the road to 16, and then it will cap there. I know this weekend we've got a lot of different sports going on, and one of them, it's Fight Night, featuring the can't-miss rematch between Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori at UFC 263 and FanDuel. They're giving you 30-1 odds on either fighter to win the main event. That means you can win $150 off a $5 bet. Place your first bet on the FanDuel Sportsbook app using promo code CASH and get in on this incredible action. That's promo code CASH. Then just sit back and watch the fists fly as Adesanya and Vettori get it on Saturday night, June 12th. They almost got it on at the presser yesterday. FanDuel, they're my go-to for all my sports bets. It's so easy to use, safe and secure, easy to download, always great promotions, fast payouts. You get paid in as little as 24 hours. And don't forget, you can only get this offer on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. So download it today and sign up using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. Again, it's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. $10 first deposit required. $150 max bonus. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Father's Day rapidly approaching, part of the Lexus of Memphis Golden Opportunity Father's Day in June sales event, 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. High standards in the industry at Lexus of Memphis. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, we are officially underway in the College World Series. A couple of games going on right now. Stanford leading Texas Tech 4-1. That game, I want to say, is in the fourth. They are underway. I think with Vandy.
Final, 2-zip
East
Vandy.
Carolina, 2-zip. So that is a final. So East Carolina.
Kumar Rocker was lights out. You couldn't touch him.
Wow. And that is obviously the Americans' best hope. But 6 SEC teams in. I'm sure it'll be rocking in Arizona. I know it's going to be crazy in Fayetteville and in Knoxville. And
Starkville.
We know at least one team from the SEC will get into the College World Series because LSU is playing in Knoxville. The most they could have would be 5. And that is exactly the number. If you'll recall that Tim Doolin, who will be a guest on this show a little bit later in the program, he predicted 5 teams from the SEC would make Omaha. They could actually get 5 in if everything went perfectly.
It's a great day to catch up with Tim Doolin. And when he made that prediction, I thought that was a little SEC heavy. He's looking more and more right as we go along. Vandy already up 1-zip, and that they got to win one more. That's 1 in. You know, you getting 1 in Knoxville, like you said. So that would be 2. My top story, college football, to expand playoffs from 4 to 12, and the intrigue at the end of the year. Thanksgiving weekend, we're now going to have intrigue for 15 to 20 teams instead of 5 to 7 teams, and that's kind of stretching it, 5 to 7. It's not stretching at 15 to 20. It's not perfect. No system is. College football haters will find something wrong with it, but we have the expanded playoffs. We'll be on the road to 16 with this. There'll be people that still complain very, very loudly. But a scenario, Dave, that Coastal Carolina can play for a national championship, I think that's pretty fair.
I think it's fantastic. I know that those that sit in the catbird seat that are in the Power 5, they don't like that. They're not happy about it at all. They'll still get the majority of the seeds. They'll always get the top 4 seeds.
Do you think Notre Dame got robbed?
I do not, because Notre Dame has the option to go into a conference anytime they want to.
So agree. Cry me a river.
Their greed to control all the NBC money and to be their own entity, you know, if if they said to the ACC, okay, we'll come in full time, the ACC would hug them and embrace them.
Anybody would. The SEC would. The Big 12 would.
Exactly.
The Big 10, everybody would.
I don't feel it at all bad.
The AAC earned their spot. It is now official. It's no longer kind of a puffy hashtag.
Would you say it's P6? Oh, you were going there, weren't you?
Oh, they're P6. Let me tell you who's getting ready to kick the door down to be P7. The Sun Belt.
You are a Sun Belt guy. Go Arkansas State, baby.
I didn't mention Arkansas State. I'm thinking Louisiana Lafayette. I'm thinking Coastal. I'm thinking other teams. Arkansas State plays a role in it, but the Sun Belt, they're getting ready to earn it.
Go. As many good real sort of credentialed programs that you have, the better it is for sports.
Sure, it keeps your fans alive. It builds the sport.
And it just builds college football. The more, the merrier. Those that are in the power don't want to give it up.
It's a lot of games. We got to get Gabe's perspective at some point today. I mean, the toll of playing 17 college football games at 19, 20 years old, that ain't easy.
Yeah, well, we'll get that. We'll do that. Let's say at 4:50 today. Gabe?
I say it's not easy. I played 2 plays in high school football, Gabe. I don't know if it'd be easy or hard.
Gabe's got the right perspective for sure on all of that.
Not top story of the day.
Well, I would have to say, like, if this were a day we were giving out medals and we were giving out Russ, I would have to say that I could do without me. I'm terrible.
Brett, this has got to be a Sportstime first.
Brett may be right.
Where you've rusted, not top storied yourself.
Brett may be correct. I may have lost my fastball. It may be over for me.
Damn.
I can't pick golf. I think I'm so smart. I'm figuring everything out. I'm looking at power indexes. I'm looking at golf analytics. Alex Noren, that seems so good. He's the only guy that knows the golf course. Who knew the Palmetto? Who knows what Congaree is?
Who knows where it is?
I'm so smart, Alex Noren, the only guy with any kind of knowledge, and he misses the cut by one.
Sportstime first.
Lucas Glover. That's another brilliant pick by analytics. What happens? He shoots 7 over. I should be shot. That's what That's what should happen.
No, wait a second. Time out. No, we're not breaking out the firing squad.
It's over for me. I should just not even participate on Wednesdays anymore. That's how bad. This is my 3rd bagel of the year. Unbelievable. No money again.
No, what you're doing is you're setting that old treble hook for when you always get hot around Memphis. And you're kind of pulling the Jim Brown, going back to the huddle, and you think you're about half dead and unable to do it, and then he rips off an 80-yarder. That's what you're pulling on us. I know you. My not top story, we saw it with Utah against the Grizzlies. There's just too much, so much firepower, and they make it all look easy. And I like that they're doing it, and they're not a super team. They were built the old-fashioned way, and everything going into the Jazz success, it can be replicated in Memphis by the Memphis Grizzlies sooner rather than later. We can't be like the Clippers, Nets, Warriors, and maybe potentially the Knicks and try to build a super team. It's got to be built ground up. It's got to be a bite at a time. The Jazz did it that way, and that gives Memphis hope.
You're going to get to make your pick so you can change. But right now, if this were without Mike Conley, Phoenix, Utah, who are you picking?
Utah.
Without Mike Conley?
Still just too much with Jordan Clarkson, that bench.
I don't know about that one. Phoenix looks
and it never ends well for Chris Paul. Good.
Well, maybe it will. Do you see he's going to decline a $44 million option?
I'd have trouble sleeping if I turned down $44 million.
Somebody tell him he's 44 years old, or 36 years old. $44 million he's going to turn down at 36?
I'd wake up every 10 minutes.
I think he's already got enough. Doesn't matter, maybe. I don't know. That's crazy. That is
44
crazy.
more doesn't hurt.
Those are our top and our not top stories. We are busy, as we always are on Fridays. We'll begin by going to Vegas. I wonder who is we know Arkansas is the overall number 1 seed, But are they the favorite of Vegas? Bruce Marshall will talk about that and the NBA and a whole lot more. We got to make hockey picks at some point today. I can't wait for Ivan Mizell, who is with a new company called On3.com, right? That's the name of the place, On3.
Like the snap count, on 3.
Okay, that's what I kind of thought. On3.com. Can't wait to talk with him about college football expansion. 4:30, Tim Doolin on a lot of baseball. On a lot of baseball, that is for sure. Then at 4:50, we'll see from a player. That would be Gabe Kuhn on how difficult it might be if you have to play as many as 17 football games in a year. Matt Wyatt from the Mississippi State Radio Network on the Super Regionals and what's going on in Starkville. That'll come your way at 5. At 5:30, as always, our agent in Chicago, Andy Schiffman, on more NBA, and then it'll be Taco Bell crunch time to end our week. That'll take place at about 5:45 to 5:50. That's the lineup. We are now officially on this Friday underway.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Attention all football players from 7th to 12th grade. Improve your game at the Memphis Big 300 Football Camp, June 18th and 19th at Blue Cross Healthy Place at David Carnes Park, corner of Whitehaven Lane and Fairfield Drive. Events include bench press, 40 and 25-yard dash, cone drills, broad jump, toolbox training, one-on-one competition, and more with instructions by former college and NFL players and evaluations by university and college coaches. You must register in advance at 313-492-3277.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the tailor-made Sim 2 drivers with forged ring construction that enhances distance and forgiveness. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with pin seeker technology, or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like-new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Cruising through our Friday afternoon. We go to Vegas in a minute. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I'm here in the Flynn Broadcasting Center We got Family Leisure Studios in Forest City. That's where Brett is, but don't forget the real place. That's at I-40 and Wooden Road, where the pools are going fast, so please go see them before they run out. They did last year. I'm not telling you they will this year, but there's a chance they might. So if you want that pool that you've been thinking about for a number of years, and with the heat and humidity today, I don't blame you. Go! Just go to I-40 and Wooden Road. Same thing with spas. They're in stock. They're ready for delivery right now. That 2021 patio furniture is displayed throughout the store. It is the nicest looking I've seen the store. They're actually moving some outside. They're redoing that whole outside area. Lindsay's gone crazy. You can take advantage, and you can get 20% off on some select patio furniture, and then you can swing in the spring with a brand new play gym. Professional installation is available. I always say use that option so your kids are safe. They're going to love what they see. When they look in that backyard and you got a play gym and it's the first time they see it, look at their eyes, look at the smiles. You're the hero. If you got a Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road, where family and fun all come together. To Vegas we go. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet, our golden man. Is the College World Series becoming a thing that folks bet on in Las Vegas?
Yeah, Dave, it is. Especially when they get to Omaha, it'll really be big, and it'll be, well, you know, a little bit different this year because you got a more NBA and NHL going on. We got the soccer Euro start, so it's a little bit more crowded June than usual. Mm-hmm. But no, it has been. It's good watching. I love College World Series. I know they're into the Supers now, and then we'll get to Omaha, but it's up in most of the books. There used to be just a couple of them that had the College World Series, but most of them will have numbers up there now.
Bruce, as long as I've been listening to you with Dave back in this market since 1992, I first caught you of early 90s, late 80s on Ron Barr on his show. As long as I've known you, you've said sports wagering is static or is dynamic. It's never static. It's always dynamic. It's never static. There's no one thing you can ride. Bruce, I'm convinced now in sports, if you're going to play an over and under, either bet the over or don't bet.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you have one of these unders and you get in overtime, like in the NBA. I don't know if we had enough lately, but
last night under hit in the Milwaukee game, but more times than not, I just wouldn't be grinding that under. I would play over or not play.
You can never really rest with an under. I mean, it's and I think in football too. Though it's not an endorsement for an under over in football, but under is sort of don't watch a game under. It's a hard watch because you're cheering for the game to be dull and not much going on. It's a hard watch, and you can never really relax. You can bet under sometimes. I just don't advise watching a game.
Bruce is the guy that's holding the dice at the crap table. He's throwing them, and he's betting against himself. I just have no confidence in that guy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, that game last night was terrible, and it convinces me that Milwaukee is not built for the playoffs. I thought for whatever reason they went away from Giannis down the stretch in crunch time. They were able to pull that game out, but I have no faith that they will win that series.
You can't win three more like that.
It would have been over had they not won. Obviously, they would have been down 3-0. It appears that Brooklyn is the better team. And what is the Vegas viewpoint of that series, Bruce Marshall?
Yeah, we're really stunned at the scoreline last night. That didn't figure. That's not really Milwaukee's game. Although Milwaukee, apparently, though, that's what Mike Budenholzer is going to try to do here, is just turn this into sort of a street fight if he can, slow the pace and turn it into a grinder, which Milwaukee can probably do a little better than Brooklyn, although that's not plan A. But, Brooklyn just seems to be, at least especially the first two games, just moving the ball a lot easier, able to score easier, even without Harden. If they've played enough without Harden, it doesn't matter. They got one ball anyway. You got plenty of guys who can still score. Blake Griffin's been able to emerge a little bit more since Harden's been out. But Giannis, you mentioned him. He hasn't been stepping up like we thought he should. Middleton really struggled the first two games in Brooklyn. They still got to win a game at Barclays Center,
right?
Which they didn't come close in the first two. And if they don't win, I mean, if this this series could end in 5. It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Bruce, not that we have that much interest, but we have some because we have a very good USL soccer team that has its first home match next Wednesday night. Not necessarily breaking it down for the wagering aspect. Just give me a team to pull for in this. I kind of want to pull for Italy, for my buddy Vince Ferrara in Knoxville. But give me a team to pull for this, and give me a team to pull for the rest of the way in hockey.
Denmark in the Euros. Watch Denmark. I thought they were sort of a side to watch in the World Cup in 2018. And, given a break or two, they could have been all the way to the final. Christian Eriksen, the midfielder, could have the same impact in this tournament that Gareth Bale did for Wales back in 2016. And they have a great goalie in Kasper Schmeichel, whose father was a great goalie, Peter Schmeichel, at Man U and Denmark. And they won this thing 9-2. This tournament, by the way,
Bruce, you're just showing out now, coming up with Kasper Schmeichel.
You knew he knew that. Come on.
Yeah.
He was covering European soccer before anybody was covering European soccer. He was the only guy that cared for a long time.
By the way, Italy just up 3-0 on Turkey, so they're going to win this first match in the opener. And on the NHL, I'm going to give you one. This might surprise you. I would not sleep on Montreal here, and I know that Vegas people and even the people in Denver thought it's going to be a cakewalk the next round, getting Montreal. I'm not so sure about that. One, the tremendous emotion for Vegas to get past Colorado. That was the series all season.
Well, can I remind you, you told me before these things started, and I had picked Vegas early on, you would say, oh, no, they're not. There's problems in Vegas. And here they are in the conference finals.
Well, they did pick it up. I thought they were in some trouble in this. And the reason I question them is they were 28-4 against the bottom 4 teams in the West. But, I mean, they did come back from 2-0 down. Adding Alex Pietrangelo was really a plus for them. So you've got a Stanley Cup winner solidifying things in the back. I think they needed that sort of leadership. But I'm going to tell you why Montreal is interesting here. Watch what they've been doing. I know Winnipeg, now they've won 7 straight games now. Winnipeg had maybe its best player, Mark Scheifele, suspended the last 3 of that series. I get that. Mm-hmm. But Montreal also didn't trail in that Winnipeg series. Watch what's going on in front of Carey Price, not just Price saving shots. They are cleaning out in front of Price. I mean, he doesn't grab every shot. There's rebounds there. Nobody's getting second shots on him. Credit Shea Weber. Credit Jeff Petrie, who did miss the last game, but he should be back for this series. So their frontline tandem defense has been great, and the whole team defense has been great. These opponents, Winnipeg in particular, and even Toronto when that series went on, they didn't get second shots at Price. They're clearing out down low. So I don't think it's going to be easy to score in this series for Vegas. Secondly, they have opened up Canada again, and so there's travel up there. We thought the Canadiens or the Leafs or somebody were going to have to play in Buffalo. But whatever U.S. team goes up there, will still be Vegas here, they're going to have to be in a bubble when they go up. Now, they were doing that for first few months of the season south of the border here, but things have opened up and they haven't had to travel that way in the last couple months. They're back to a bubble up there, which could be a little bit disconcerting in the road leg. Vegas is an enormous favorite in this series, but I'm a little leery.
Interesting.
Montreal playing pretty well.
Interesting. Montreal, I can't believe they beat Toronto, first of all. I thought Toronto had a shot at winning the whole thing. And weren't the Canadians down 3-1 in that first series?
Yes.
I mean, it's incredible, this Montreal story. Usually you like to ride a hot team, but, I don't know. I am kind of torn in that one.
Well,
And now, Bruce, how much book do these teams have on Montreal going? I mean, how much book does Vegas? They haven't seen them all year.
No, they don't have much. And, I mean, in Vegas, it's all the money on Vegas, too. There's one other thing here. When you see this in the NHL, the coaching changes during the season. Teams end up winning. St. Louis with Craig Berube 2 years ago. Pittsburgh, it's when Sullivan came in there, 2015, 16, he came in midseason. Montreal got rid of Claude Julien, which I didn't like after about a month and a half this season, and they did not fire for Dominique Ducharme until the playoffs here. All of a sudden, they're looking good like they did the first few weeks of the season when I thought they might have been the best team in the NHL. This is not going to be easy. for the Golden Knights in this round.
And then the other one, Tampa and the Islanders. I mean, the Islanders are again, and there's another shock pick. Montreal and the New York Islanders, both in these conference finals, is amazing to me. You got to think Tampa's going to win that series, don't you?
I think it might not be easy. Now, this is a rematch of last year up in the bubble when they moved to Edmonton, and then Tampa got them in 6. But this is the latest example. Barry Trott's master class again with the Islanders. They didn't figure to win either of the first 2 series. They won both of them in similar style. They muck things up in center ice. This is pure Trotz. The defense is good, and if they found different guys to score goals and take some pressure off of Matthew Barzal. One other note. I love the way this thing has worked since Trotz got there. And he and Lou Lamoriello, the GM, have really worked it well, especially at the trade deadlines. They've picked up several pieces the last few years at the deadline. Pajot last year from Ottawa, Andy Green from New Jersey, this year Palmieri from New Jersey. All those guys have played enormous roles in the playoffs here. They're just smart. And Tampa Bay is great and should win, but I don't think this is going to be an easy series either for the Lightning.
Bruce, did college football get it right?
On the
playoff expansion? It's happening.
Yeah, but I a couple notes here. One, what they do, and I'm reading this stuff, they're making a big deal, a big hooey about it. They said for the last 2 years they've been researching this. It would have taken them about an hour to figure this out. I am so sick of these administrators patting themselves in the back. 31 years ago, I wrote something in the Gold Sheet about how a playoff could work, and using that time between the end of the regular season and the bowls for like a first round. If they took 2 years to figure this out, a way to do it, that just confirms they are completely. I have no only contempt for the administrators. And by the way, it's mostly TV. TV could have told them this a long time ago, and I'm sure they're pressing and say, look, there's more money on the table here. So, no, I mean, yeah, it's about time they go to 12 is fine, but for them to say we've been working on this for 2 years, I mean, don't insult us like that. You could have figured this out in about an hour.
Please run that column, Bruce, at Gold Sheet.
I'll try to find it. I first ran it in 1990. And by the way, if you go back to the 1965 Sports Illustrated College Football Preview, they had a tournament proposed in there in 1965. So we're talking 56 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So when you did that in, would you say 1990 was the first time you put it out?
Yeah.
When you wrote that, did you have 12 teams or 16 teams or 8 teams? How many did you have?
I think I had 16 in there. And I had the first round at neutral sites, and then you plug in once you get to first round at home sites, the higher seed. But then you can plug the rest of the tournament into the existing bowls, and that's what I did then. And it could make some of these bowls more meaningful than they are anyway. Now and I don't. The old argument about it hurting the bowl system, I don't buy that. Most of the bowl games now have nothing to do with the national championship anyway.
You know what? I spent the morning with Steve Earhart,
and we can still have
executive director, the guy that runs the AutoZone Liberty Bowl and owns the AutoZone Liberty Bowl for that matter. And I think he's got some concern, but I don't think he's overly concerned. And the truth is,
we're still going to have a great AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
The truth is, the bowls have already been diminished to what they are. I don't think they're going to get any lower. All you're talking about are 4 on-campus games that become really big.
Super Bowls.
That become huge. And it'll be great for the atmosphere of those college towns and those campuses, and it'll open up more interest for the game, and the teams that end up in the bowls will still be going to the bowls.
Sure. It's not going to hurt the bowls at all. And, I mean, they don't have anything to do with the national title anyway. Most
That's right.
of them.
None of them do.
None of them do. So it's not going to hurt that. It's so overdue. I mean, I think one of the great, but one last thing, before they started the new playoff a few years ago, I don't know if you remember, they had there's a little clip they had from Sean Astin when he played in the Rudy movie.
Yeah.
And so he kind of recreated back in 1975 that, and he said, we're going to have a playoff, guys. And he said, but I got to tell you, it's not going to be until 2016. Now, this is supposedly in 1975.
In that movie? Seriously?
No. They remade a little humorous clip a few years ago before they started.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of Forrest Gump meeting LBJ, yeah.
Yeah, it was poignant, though. And if these guys want to pat themselves on the back, don't put me in that line because this should have been done decades.
I'm with you there. I can't believe Rudy was made in 75. It's that old?
No. Rudy
that's when it
happened
was set.
in 75, but they made the movie in 92.
Okay. Thank you.
It was
It
for
was set
75.
from the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
Bruce, I think that 1965 Sports Illustrated preseason magazine picked Ole Miss to win it all that year, and the Rebels did not. It was they got without a quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you who was a featured. I don't think he was on the cover, but he was on the inside portion in the spread. The opening page for the college football season was Frank Solich running the ball for Nebraska, taking a handoff from I want to say Bob Churchich was the quarterback, and I think the quarterback was on the cover. But
it's a double yo there.
They showed Solich running against Frank Boyle's Arkansas in the Cotton Bowl. And that was a big picture right in the center spread in that issue.
All right. Remind me next week. We don't have any more time. Because you're talking about the Euro League. What about the great American men's national team that knocked off Mexico and all that incredible controversy and everything? Here's what I want to do. I want you to make me feel good about our chances to qualify for the World Cup, but we'll do that next Friday, okay? Remind me.
Okay.
Thank you. That's our friend Bruce Marshall. How do we get more of you?
Yeah, goldsheet.com. We're writing up these basketball NBA playoffs every day. We've got picks, basketball, hockey, baseball, soccer, every day. My picks there. They're also at the Vegas Insider and onbest.com.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too.
This portion of our show brought to you by Supercuts. Supercuts.com. That's the website you go to find the location nearest to you because, there are 15 of the Supercuts. 30 years ago, 0. The Czech family came, and slowly, every 2 years, they open up a new place, and they are wonderful people to work for, and they are looking for employees. Every store needs workers. So if you would like to work for a good family, good wage, feel good about yourself, probably get a good price on a haircut, you'll look good, go to supercuts.com if you want to find that location nearest to you. Don't think they aren't still very careful inside those salons because they are. The safe salon commitment is still in place. Sanitization, spacing, all still there. They're all still doing business. All you got to do to look good is head to your nearest Supercuts. We are back in just a minute. We'll put a wrap on this very first hour on this Friday. The weekend's almost here. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
All right, we have goat yoga lattes coming up in the yoga room. Hey, Regan, can you go
At Finley's Fitness, personal trainers shouldn't have to personally do everything.
Engage that core. That class started 2 minutes ago. I am late. Hey, Dylan, can you...
Indeed can help them hire the people they need.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing if you're with me. Yeah.
They have gone to the bottom of the 7th in Wrigley. A man on, a man out, and the Cubs and the Cards. They're tied at 5. Cubs were down big in this game.
14 pitch at bat for Rizzo.
Really?
Number 14, he sent it over the fence. First and third for the Cubs now, Dave.
Great
game.
Third. Wow. Gosh, I love that.
It'll feel real good or real bad.
We got to make picks for hockey, even though I'm dormied. I can't even tie you.
You can tie, yes. You can tie.
Oh, you failed to mention that. But that means I got to go opposite everything you do.
To win, to tie, yes, you do.
Okay.
You're 4-8. I'm 7-5. Drew is 6-6. Drew takes Tampa Bay. Who do you take between Tampa Bay and the New York Islanders?
I am deferring to you because I'm taking the exact opposite of you in order to win this.
I can't blame you. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I'm going against the Islanders.
Oh, okay, I have to go with the Islanders, and I actually think that Tampa's going to win, but I don't like to root for goons anyway. So that's fine.
Drew takes Montreal. I take Vegas. So you take?
I take Montreal. The only way I can go with it, and Montreal's the hottest thing going right now.
So Drew he'll make hockey picks all the way through, NBA all the way through, but we pass the baton next Wednesday to Gabe Kuhn on golf picks. And
wait.
Drew on the way out took a bagel.
Gabe has already told me he knows nothing.
Well, I didn't say nothing.
You said
it's limited, is I think the word I used.
I think you said you don't know how to swing a club.
I never. Okay, now you
keep
making
the
stuff
description
up.
going.
You said
Dave,
when you were a kid, you played with easy bake ovens rather than get out on a golf.
You know what? This is
ridiculous. Because most of this y'all are describing, and I know he's listening because he sent me a funny text. You're really kind of describing Drew. He couldn't play either, and he couldn't pick either.
And Dave is making things up at this point. I will tell you, I will pick, and I will.
I'm
going to beat Dave just because of all of
it. Next week, Gabe.
Huh?
Double money week next week. You can get right back in the thing. But on the way out, Drew took a bagel at 3:25. Right at break time, Drew sent me a text. Dave, time to go to break. So he's listening. He's looking out for us.
And also wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. Your not top story today was how bad you are at golf picks.
Mention a firing squad.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, you said you needed to be shot.
It's been bad around here on picks, but man, I never advocated a firing squad.
That's a little like I can explain it to you. It's a little like Willie Mays in a New York Mets uniform. I've had my moments of greatness. How many times have I won this thing? I'm
that 73 series with Willie Mays stumbling around with the Mets. That was it.
That's kind of what this is like.
It's Tony Dorsett with the Broncos. It's Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals. It's Joe Willie Namath with
Gabe,
the Rams. It's been sad to see you.
I know it. But with Gabe, I mean, this is like he's still in I don't know, Kitty League. We even get to Little League yet? I mean, come on.
You expect me to respond to that?
No,
gracefully.
No.
I'm
Gabe,
in Kitty League, apparently.
Here's the big
bring
question.
Bring it
Gabe.
next Wednesday, baby.
Did you ever play youth hockey, Gabe? Because that's big today.
No, it's funny. I don't even want to admit it. Youth roller hockey I played.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so
that's at least you got the concept.
But it doesn't sound like I have to do much to beat you, Dave. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know, can I just say this? I have stunk. I have said it. I seem to have lost my fastball. Yet I am ahead of both Drew and Brett. So,
but Dave, the bar was set so high, though. I mean,
I hear you. Oh no! 7-5, Cubbies. How did they do that? How did they? And they still got a man on second.
I don't know. I looked away and didn't see it.
Wow.
They got to Genesis Cabrera.
Wow. How the Cubs down 5-1 in this game?
They were, yes.
Wow. 7-5. Man, we got still plenty to do. My son just texted me. You watching this Cub game? 100% capacity, down 5-1 at one point. I love it. He's psyched. You know how crazy this game is. It's the same way with the real estate market. Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf, they can hardly keep anything in inventory long enough to advertise on this show. That house on an acre lot on Shady Grove, remember I talked about that a week and a half or two ago? Now under contract. The fixer-upper on Eastmoreland and Central Gardens we bragged about, under contract. The ones in Hind Park on West Drive and on Barfield and Pigeon Estates, both also have contracts as well. Now you see the reason he's often called Sheldon. There's a new listing in a gated community in Midtown on Granville Place that just hit the market with new carpet and paint, but you better call or email Sheldon right away, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com before that one gets away. Remember, if you or somebody you know is thinking of selling, maybe want to hear about your home right here on the radio, all you got to do is email Sheldon. That's memphisrelocate.com or call 483-0546. Write it down. Do it now, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, it'll be a lot of fun because we will talk about this new website and the college football playoffs with one of the true college football historians on the planet, Ivan Mizell, with this new thing on 3.com. He's next.
Hi, folks. Jeff Jackson, General Manager at Sunrise Chevrolet Buick GMC. Come celebrate our 32nd anniversary sale with savings up to $8,000. The largest selection of vehicles in the Mid-South with new vehicles arriving daily. A $12 million used car inventory with over 300 used cars. Bad credit, bankruptcy, slow pay, it's okay. If you got a job, you're approved at Sunrise, home of the guaranteed credit approval. Find new roads at Sunrise, 385 at Houston Levee Road. See us online at sunrisememphis.com.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Memphis, it's official. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp and chicken pasta. Now available is the salmon and fried lobster pasta, snow crabs, king crab, dungeons and more. Don't forget about the calamari, shrimp and lobster. The portion, the price, the taste. only at Crab King. Visit us at CrabKingTN.com. Crab King Seafood and Pasta. East Memphis location now open till midnight for carry-out. Memphis favorites.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome in as we take you to the weekend, our second hour. Good to have you. Brett is back in the house. And we're going to talk with the great Ivan Mizell in just a minute. I did want to, but we've been back and forth so much on the Cubs and the Cards. There is a historic, I think it's a fair thing to say, French Open semifinal going on right now. They are in the fourth set, and Rafael Nadal is up against Novak Djokovic. The Joker is up 2-1. Nadal was just up 2-love, and there's a break by the Joker. That thing tied 2-2. I just marvel at Nadal and what he does at Roland Garros. I said this earlier in the week. He's made his 14th semifinal. He's after his 14th French Open championship. Do you know offhand, Brett Norsworthy, what Rafael Nadal's match record at Roland Garros is, knowing that he's won 13 French Opens?
I don't know the wins. I'm going to say the losses are 4.
You would be incorrect. Cut that in half. 105 and 2. 105 and 2.
It's the biggest home field, home court, home stadium, ballpark, arena, gym in the history of sport.
It's incredible. No one will ever dominate one particular major.
I mean, Rockney every now and then lost at South Bend.
Yeah, I mean that is unbelievable. So we'll keep our eye on that, and of course, what is happening at Wrigley Field.
I think Bear only lost twice ever at Tuscaloosa.
How many?
2 times, but he didn't. But remember, they didn't play a lot there. Mostly at Birmingham.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Ivan Mizell would know. They lost to FSU. And I think Bayer lost twice ever at now Bryant-Denny Stadium.
That is incredible. So let's bring in truly a wonderful college football historian. You see him on all the things ESPN did with the history of the game, and I love that whole documentary series. And Ivan has started a new business. It's called On3.com. And Ivan, how did you choose On3? You could have gone Omaha or something like that.
That's a very good point. Well, I didn't pick the name. Shannon Terry, who is the guy, and he and his team started Rivals.com and started 247sports.com. This is their new venture. And Shannon's had a terrific career at Lipscomb playing hoop back in the 90s. And he came up with it because he wanted that sort of team feeling, and we're on 3 break. And I thought it was one of the many things I liked about the venture was the name.
I did too, Ivan, and it beats the heck out of Blue 98. Blue 98. I mean, it's a lot better. And you're right, Shannon Terry has been a sports revolutionary, Ivan.
Well, they're smart guys, he and his team, and that really impressed me. And we really talked over a matter of months, and they never gave me a reason to say no. So the site's going to go live in mid-August, and we're busy now trying to get some things ready to put up there when people come see it.
So will this be current stuff? Will this be historic stuff? Both? What are some of the things you're working on right now for that site?
No, we're going to cover current college sports, and we're kind of, there'll be a big recruiting component as everything with Shannon has been with Rivals and 24/7, but we're also going to put a premium on writing and on covering the sport as it happens. Yesterday being a great example, I was on the conference call with the commissioners discussing the 12-team playoff proposal, and the call ended, and I didn't really know what to do. I don't have anywhere to write, so I tweeted a few things, but before long, we'll be ready to go.
And Ivan, I want you. It's always easy to spend somebody else's or somebody other company their money, and it's always easy to take wear and tear off of you with airports and travel. But especially coming out of this pandemic, and I know why we did it. We had our heads knocked off last year, and we were trying to stay in business. But I'm ready to see Ivan Maisel out at a different press box every Saturday during college football season. I'm not talking about just an SEC. I want you coast to coast, and when you can, I want you doing that rare twofer, 11 o'clock maybe in Oxford and 6 o'clock maybe in Memphis that day.
I want that too. No question about it. And the goal is that I will be going out every week, that there's somewhere good to go. Even in the when I was going, quote, every week at ESPN, there were a couple of weeks in every season where you just, let's save our bullets this week. We all know there's a dud schedule every once in a while, but my intention is to be out every week. And I think especially, this season, one of the reasons that I wanted to get back in the fray is not only for the pent-up excitement that we all feel about seeing full stadiums and getting back to whatever normal will be at this fall, but also we're on the precipice of so much change in college sports in general and in football in particular. Between NIL is lurking and all the decisions that will be made in the next few weeks concerning the playoff proposal, and there's just a lot. The sport is pivoting, and I want to be there when it happens.
So let's go to this new expanded playoff. Do you think, one, that it will come off as we are seeing it, as ESPN has now reported it, with the top 6 ranked conference champions that get in, and that it will really go to 12. Could the management council in Chicago next week change things up? What is your take on what will really happen?
Well, I would be surprised if they made many changes to what the proposal is now. It's not perfect. Look, I'm a 14 playoff guy, and I always have been. But I recognize, and as did the commissioners, who are also 14 playoff opponents, that there is fan disengagement now. You know, people, if you're not a fan of Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame, you're kind of put off. And they felt like 8 was not enough to combat that. And they also felt like if you're going to reward conference champions, which they made that decision to do so with higher seeds, then that meant, you know, if a conference champion is seeded lower than 8, is ranked lower than 8, then they're going to move up ahead of the number 8 ranked team. And they felt like that team was too close to the top to get knocked out. You know, if they were going to expand, let's go ahead and make sure that the best teams get in. So it'll be the 6 highest ranked conference champions and the 6 highest ranked non-champions. I like that part of the format. That, you know, I've got a lot of. I'm a little skeptical about some of the things. You know, that it's possible if you're ranked 9 through 12, you could end up playing 17 games, which is crazy. You know,
a lot of football.
That's a lot of football at that age, and I find it curious that the games to get into the quarters will be, 5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds get home games as their reward, while the reward for the top 4 seeds is a bye week. And bye weeks are important, but why not have the quarterfinals at home sites and give the top 4 seeds a home game and a bye week. But by putting the quarterfinals in the bowls, they're given a prop. They're propping up the bowl system, which needs it. I think the bowls that don't make the quarterfinals and the semifinals are really going to struggle. I think there's going to be even less incentive for guys to stay in the game and play in the bowls than there is now. The ones that want to come out early for the draft, the stars. So I think the bowls are going to continue to have trouble in that regard. And we all love, there's no greater time than from mid-December to the end of into the first week of January, when there's a football game every day. I mean, that's just the best part of the year to me. But is it enough to have that for TV audiences? If the players don't want to play in them and the fans aren't going to go, then what are we doing? I'm concerned about that part of it too. And then there's some, y'all stop me when you want, but there's a couple other things that my friends have pointed out to me today.
Go ahead.
Please proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame, BYU, and Army, and Liberty, and all the independents cannot be a top 4 seed. The top 4 seeds are the 4 highest ranked conference champions. So think about this. Notre Dame goes undefeated, and USC finishes 11-1, having lost to Notre Dame. USC will be higher ranked than Notre Dame. USC will get a week off.
Well, here's what Notre Dame can do. I guarantee
Join a
you
conference.
the ACC will take them. The
With
Big
bells on.
Ten would take them.
The SEC would take them.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, I think it'll be real curious. Notre Dame had such a good experience in the ACC last year and made so much money, so much more money than they are used to making. How the traditionalists in in the Notre Dame fan base, and and it's a lot of the boosters who write the big checks that love treasure the independence. What price are they willing to pay to maintain that independence? And
Ivan, with every new thing in college athletics, there's always a one team that's the real beneficiary of it. I thought the proliferation of college basketball on ESPN late 70s into the 80s, that Syracuse really benefited from it. College football,
sure
the TV proliferation, I thought Frank Beamer and Virginia Tech really got a lot of value of it. Who do you see lurking out there that maybe is not the traditional name that could be the beneficiary of this sea change in college football?
Well, I'll give you one example that you might want to hear. I started looking backwards to see, which conference champions would have benefited from this. And I only had to go back 2 years.
Yep.
Memphis was number 17 and would have been in the playoff, and the number 12 team, which was Notre Dame, would not have been in the playoff. So I think there's going to be, last year it would have been Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina would have made the field.
Right.
How much fun would that have been? And I think what will be appealing here is, we're conditioned in March to think it's just great to make the tournament. And we don't think all 69 teams have a chance to win, but we just love to see them play. And we've never had that in football. It's you got to be better than that to make the playoff. And, that's how special it is. And that was the appeal. Well, that's not working. So now maybe we'll get, does anybody think, Coastal Carolina last year could have, won 4 games,
No.
boom, 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 boom? No, but it would have been great fun, and it would have been a great boost to them and to the conference. And the point the commissioners made yesterday is that when we hit the stretch run in November, you could have as many as 25 or 30 teams that are going to be in the hunt. And all of a sudden, the end of the season will have a lot more flavor to it. Now, what happens when, Ohio State rests starters the way they do in the NFL, against, somebody who I don't know, are they going to rest them against Michigan? Probably not. But, if they clinch the East the week before that, are they going to rest starters? That's not something we're used to in college football, and not something that anybody wants to see. But that I think that would be an unforeseen poor consequence, and I'm sure many, many others that we're not smart enough. Certainly, I'm not smart enough to figure out until they happen.
We're going to see this as well, Ivan. 1 through 4, well, you want to be in that grouping because you get the time off. But 5 through 8 is going to be very important because that will be the host on campus for the biggest games that they will ever host. We could have this one of these years. You could have a number 5 Auburn hosting a number 12 Alabama, or vice versa. You could go. You could have a Michigan-Ohio State rematch within 2 or 3 weeks. We could have some really fun matchups in that 5-12, 6-11, and so forth games. And 5 through 8, we'll be having those on campus for the campus has never seen anything like these games.
No, and how much fun would it be not to be in the stands, but the second week of December in Iowa City to watch that. That would have a real NFL Lambeau Field flavor to it.
Yeah.
We see that sometimes in Thanksgiving weekend, so there's some aesthetic appeal to it if you're a football fan to seeing that sort of the breath coming out of 22 helmets, but. Yeah, I mean, that part would be fun. And, I think there's going to be hiccups. There always are. But they need to address this issue, and I understand why they're doing it this way, and we'll see if it works.
The critics are saying it's a money grab.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
I tend to agree. I don't know yet all the particulars. Is this? I think I read that it was ESPN's baby to match. They had the right of matching anything. To have it solely, it could be in partnership like the NCAA tournament is with CBS and TBS. I don't know how much it really means. Do you know, for instance, what that might mean to the American, for example, that is really hurting on cash?
Well, clearly, you'd have to say that the American is, of the group of 5 conferences, is the most accomplished. So does that mean that their champion has a better chance of getting in, or does it mean that they're going to beat each other up because they've got more depth? As opposed, last year it would have been the American would have had a spot. In 2019, the American would have had a spot. So
in 17 and 18, they would have had a spot.
Yeah.
If you
so
go
there
back.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is a lifeline to the American. We don't know what those shares would be worth yet, but because we don't know what the new television contract would be, but
right.
It would be substantial, and it, it's not going to substantially close the gap, but it would sure help.
152nd year of college football we're about to venture into. We'll never forget 151. I can promise you that. And 150, you did the trailblazing, groundbreaking, extraordinary, great work on chronicling the 150 years of college football. Ivan, tell me if I was right or wrong in this answer. I got a question that summer at a meet and greet Q&A, and someone asked me, if you landed here from Mars and you didn't know anything about college football, what would you suggest to somebody to get up to speed? And my answer was this: learn the history of Notre Dame and the history of Paul Bryant, and you'll be able to be conversational. Did I give them a right answer?
That's a pretty good one. I'd say certainly the history of Notre Dame. I would include. I think if you just said the history of Alabama, you'd probably go 2 for 2, because then you'd have Bryant and Saban. And
gotcha.
before Bryant, you would get back to the Rose Bowl win in the 20s that really was the introduction of Southern football to the nation. So I think those 2 schools, you could do a lot worse in terms of trying to figure out what the sport is.
Where would you go next? Would you go Texas or USC or Penn State?
OU?
Oklahoma? When I think of Texas, I think Oklahoma too, I guess.
I think the next thing you do is go to the State Fair at Texas on the second Saturday of October and just drop them off there.
Right.
And let them wander around the Midway and go look at the show chickens and the butter carvings, and then get them a corny dog and wander into the stadium at 11 a.m. And
it's not cardiologist recommended, but it's certainly fun.
Well, you don't know. Aliens may exist on corny dogs. Certainly a lot of Texans do.
They were from Mars.
We'll find proof of that in the next few weeks, probably.
Yeah. So that's a pretty astute question, though. You got you're talking to smart people when you're giving those talks.
Thanks, Ivan. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We hope to have you on again sometime soon. Maybe when you get this thing really blasted off on 3.com. That is the name of the new website. And when do you say it goes live?
August 15th is the opening day.
Opening day, August the 15th. Can't wait to see it. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Ivan Mazel, what a guy. Brought to you in part, this hour is brought to you by Homer. You know that. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, same home of the great Genesis cars, Genesis of Olive Branch. When it comes to the Best luxury car for the money, hands down. All the automotive magazines will tell you that is Genesis. They just got a new guy. Well, not just. A few months ago, Vinny Gerard came over, been in the marketplace a long time, really knows luxury cars, really fell in love with the product. And Chris True, who's over both places, said this is the guy I've got to have for all the new product that they're going to have. And they're making that Genesis dealership bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, it was in the top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, 2 or 1 in the district, depending on the month you're talking about. And it's part product, that is part the salespeople that have been together for 13 or 14 years. These are great cars. There's so many bells and whistles. And a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car, plus a 3 or 36,000-mile maintenance package. They will take care of you, both Hyundai and with those Genesis cars. They'll rotate your tires. They will absolutely change your oil, make sure all the fluids are perfect, make sure your car is running like a top if you get a new Genesis or a new Hyundai from Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We got to take a break. When we come back, it's 8-5, top of the ninth in Wrigley. We'll talk more baseball. Coming your way in a second with our baseball expert. Knowledge. It just oozes from his pores. That's Tim Doolin. He comes your way in a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend, Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Gaston for FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, and you'll be in hoops heaven betting all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There are so many exciting matchups, and FanDuel is taking that excitement to another level because new and existing users can bet risk-free throughout the playoffs. New users can get up to $1,000 back if your first bet doesn't win. Plus, once you have an account, you can bet one same-game parlay risk-free every single week. That means you can combine multiple bets for an even bigger win. And if you don't win, you'll get up to $10 back. Basketball fans, now is the perfect time to give FanDuel a shot.
Just sign up with promo code GASMAN to bet the NBA playoffs risk-free. That's promo code GASMAN, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. Risk-free bet for first online real money wager only, and refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Same game parlay refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile/web. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Halfway home on this Friday, we got a couple of finals to tell you about. Well, Novak Djokovic just knocked off Rafael Nadal to reach the French Open final. The
huge
top-seeded Joker? Not really. I mean, Joker's the number 1 seed.
But that setting.
That's true. It ended Nadal's quest for a record-breaking 21st
It
Grand
almost
Slam
doubled his
title.
losses there. I'm warmer now. I'm closer to my 4 than I was 20 minutes ago.
It's 3 now. He's now 105-3. But that would have been his 14th French. It would have been his 21st Grand Slam, which would have eased him past Federer, who, now doesn't deserve, in my mind, to hold the mark because he could have been in this thing, and he chose not to continue there. So
he's scared of that knee.
Well, then he shouldn't have been in this tournament. He should have just waited for Wimbledon. He used the French Open and quit on him after he won 3 matches. That, to me, I love. He's been my favorite guy. I wanted him to hold the record, but now, Joker. I think Joker's probably going to end up being the number 1 guy overall.
Go
when
ahead.
It's all said and done.
Get to the baseball.
And
Get
it's
to the north
over.
side.
It's over in Wrigley.
Say it. Cubs win.
Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs
Gabe
win.
will never play that hideous
Go,
song, though.
Cubs,
Drew
go.
would play it.
Go, Cubs, go. I think with the Brewers playing later tonight, the Cubs now have first place in the National League
That's
Central
correct.
by a half a game.
You know what you have? Seriously, Dave, you got the old Craig Kimbrell. It's
We
good
do.
morning, good afternoon,
We
good
do.
night when he comes in. It's no drama. And that's what you want out of your reliever coming in. No drama.
How many straight appearances without giving up an earned run? It's a heck of
Automatic.
A lot. It's incredible. It's a lot. It is terrific. They got a 4-game lead on the Cardinals now. 4 games. Wow. I did not see that coming. I'll tell you who else didn't see that coming. That would be our own Tim Doolin, our baseball expert who absolutely, totally disrespected the Chicago Cubs. I'm giving him an opportunity. I'm not asking for an apology. I'm just saying you can say you might have been wrong about this, Tim Doolin.
I can't even remember. I can't even remember predicting that the Cardinals were going to win today.
No, you didn't
If
today.
I did, then kudos to the Cubs.
That was the last series in St. Louis when the Cubs took, what was it, 3 out
They
of 4
did
there?
that.
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
We didn't
Oh,
have.
2 out of
We
3.
didn't get to predict this weekend series.
What would you have said?
I'm focused on college.
I
baseball.
figured as much. You know what? I really do. I need to give you cred, okay? Because you said on these airwaves 3 weeks ago, I think it was, you said there will be 5 SEC teams that will make it to Omaha, and literally 5 could. Vandy's already in. Oh, I shouldn't say. They're 1 win away. We know either LSU or Tennessee is going to be in, so that would be 2. And you could possibly get 5 SEC teams in if Tennessee or LSU are in. Vandy with
Arkansas
1 more
and
win.
State.
Arkansas is the favorite. State and Ole Miss. All 5
Ole Miss
could
on the
make
road.
it. Yeah.
And I honestly feel really good about 4. To be honest with you, when you look at these matchups, and I like I said last week, I thought that Ole Miss's regional was one of the toughest, and it proved to be that. Ole Miss came up with some clutch hitting, and I tell you the best story in college baseball right now is you got a guy at Ole Miss that everything he's swinging at is going over the fence. He's playing basically on 1.5 legs with a torn UCL. I don't know about you guys, and I'm not the smartest guy, but I would not pitch to the guy. I'd walk him, because then you got to rent a cab
run the
to get him to
bases.
third. You got to get him to cab. You got to get a cab to get him to third base, and so he's a base clogger. So all of a sudden, it's a liability versus rolling the dice and say, "Oh, we can get him out." Well, no one's getting this guy out. So
you know
we'll
what?
see how
If you have
Arizona
a 2 or
attacks that.
that would make sense to me. If I were a head baseball coach in Arizona and I got a 2 or 3 run lead early to mid in that game, I'd walk him. I agree with you.
Because he can't go in and break up a double play at second.
No, he can't.
No, I wouldn't. I might pitch to him that there's no one on base with 2 outs, but I'd still pitch around him. But at the end of the day, if he comes up with runners, at second base with 2 outs, I just put him on. I don't even waste pitches, because oftentimes, especially with young pitchers, you say we're going to intentionally walk this guy, which basically means we're going to pitch around him and maybe he'll get himself out. Well, young pitchers are not. They're not wired that way. Their mentality is, I'm going to make a really nasty pitch, and oftentimes when you try to do that, you hang something, and I think that's what's been happening, because I'm sure the pitching coach for the opposing team is saying, don't pitch to this guy, but they ended up giving him pitches to hit. But we got some great series coming up, and I think Tennessee's definitely going to be favored, but LSU is that team that is really with a lame duck coach that's going to be retired, has announced his retirement. We don't know who the next coach is going to be, and all of a sudden, what are they doing? They're winning one for the Gipper, and they're playing really good right now.
Yeah, and sometimes, boy, you just can't get in the way of destiny. And the Paul Maneri story on the ride out, and Duke basketball fans would be hoping the same thing next year for Mike Krzyzewski with his announced retirement. But Paul Maneri could be writing that story against Tennessee in Knoxville. Mississippi State hosting Notre Dame, Arkansas against NC State. Vandy already won, and Ole Miss, they go to Arizona and they're playing in a bandbox. How hard will it be? If you had that big blow-up inning to give up 5 or 6 or 7, how hard, Tim, is that to just say, don't worry about it because we get to bat too?
Well, I think that's a good thing for Ole Miss, because they played a few of those games over the last weekend where there were lots of runs being scored. I think both a combination of not really, really good pitching and the teams they were playing, but Southern Miss scored tons of runs and went back and forth in that first elimination game. So I think it's going to be a really good series. The Mississippi State Notre Dame series, I kind of got a little bit of a scouting report this morning on them. Is they've got a big number 4 hitter that Notre Dame does that can really, really swing it. They play on turf, but they play on a turf that's more conducive to an American League type of team, where it was really, really slow. They field it okay, but they don't run the bases that good, and they don't have a lot of team speed. And with Mississippi State playing on natural grass that's really tight and a really fast field, I would have to say that Mississippi State's got the advantage. But again, Notre Dame is someone you got to be careful with.
So what's the team? You said 4 teams. I know Arkansas you think is going to make it.
I think Arkansas. I feel good. I think Arkansas, obviously, LSU and/or Tennessee will be in. I think Vanderbilt's in, and I think Mississippi State's probably got the nod over, say, Ole Miss on the road at Arizona, winning that regional.
Yeah.
But
I agree, at home against Starkville.
Yeah, I mean, so I think you're you could see 5, but I think you're definitely going to see 4.
So which is the one that you think could lose?
I think Mississippi State will win their super regional,
Right.
and I think Ole Miss would be the one that we kind of flip
'Cause
a
they're
coin.
on the
So
road.
Ole Miss,
Yeah.
because they're on the road, and I think if you if you could flip a coin in that series, to be honest with you.
The heat in Arizona, they're talking about just really now at night it should be better. Tomorrow in Phoenix, now they're playing in Tucson, but tomorrow in Phoenix, the high is 116. I mean, that's some serious heat. Tell me the story, Tim, about Dallas Baptist, DBU, as they are known in college baseball circles. They're playing Virginia.
Well, DBU, we actually just one of our older age groups teams just played out there the other day. And Wolo, you know this, being in Dallas, it's such a huge. There's so many good players here.
Right.
When you got TCU, you got Dallas Baptist, and mix in all the other. You got Texas that's in the Super Regional that's playing really, really good. And I think them Arkansas and Vandy would probably be one of the top, the top three seeds that I think could actually go to Omaha and win it. But DBU is just one of those teams, kind of like Tennessee Tech was a few years ago, winning that regional in Oxford. They just kind of got a plenty of really, really good baseball players, and that's what you got to do at a place like DBU or a mid-major to make noise and get where you're at. Is you've got to take players that you see in high school that might not be a Big 12 player, they might not be an SEC type player, but you see something in them and you can coach them up, and that's what develop, and that's what DBU's definitely done this year.
Well, the games are in Columbia, not even at Charlottesville.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's in South Carolina.
It's being played at Columbia,
and it was
so no home field advantage for UVA.
No,
that helps DBU.
No, it does, and part of this is that DBU just doesn't have a big ballpark. They had an option maybe to play in Fort Worth, and TCU wouldn't let them. Is what we had Craig Way on, the Voice of Texas, yesterday,
right?
and I was asking him about
that's not cool, is
DBU,
it?
and they were saying DBU. First of all, when I was there in the 80s, they were an NAIA school, and then they went to Division II, and now they're the only sport they play at the Division I level is baseball, and they are known for taking malcontents. So you're right. They'll take some guys that people aren't really that interested and develop them in Dallas, but they're getting a lot of transfer portal malcontents, guys that didn't make it somewhere, and the guy develops them, and he's done a heck of a job. That is a great story. East Carolina looks like they're on the ropes against Vandy. The only other team left would be South Florida up against Great Texas. But two teams from the American got this far to the Super Regionals. Would you consider that a successful year?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Cliff Godwin, that's done a remarkable job at East Carolina. I mean, he takes over his alma mater 3 or 4 years ago and has done nothing but continue to put great players out and get to the Super Regional. I think the last 2 or 3 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's mentioned in the next couple of years and or take a job in the SEC if one opens up. I have heard lately that LSU is courting the former Oregon State legend coach, as well as I heard that Dan McDonald was either flying to Baton Rouge or they were flying there to meet with him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the LSU gig. I was really a little bit shocked that Rice went the direction they did in hiring an alumni that really has more of a professional background than, say, a college. Jose Cruz Jr., a good guy, know him, but as we've seen, it's very difficult for guys that have been in pro ball for so long to jump back in the college ranks without having a feel for it.
Is this a Dave Anderson kind of hire?
I mean, I think similar. I mean, and look, it doesn't discredit the baseball knowledge. These guys have a wealth of baseball knowledge. It's just a different animal when you go from professional baseball in the minor leagues and or the big leagues to getting in a college setting, from recruiting to the academics to having to deal with issues of dealing with players every day. Whereas in professional baseball, you're basically just managing the game and dealing with players in the clubhouse and on the field versus off the field.
Do you think, Tim, the manipulation of the baseball at the big league level is as real as alleged by the New York Mets star Alonso this week?
I think it is. I think it is definitely an issue that they've got to get. And Pete Alonso made a comment that is worthy of trying to understand. Is he's all for him continuing to use it because he don't want him throwing 100 miles an hour and not knowing where it's going. However, I think with what they've been able to produce with the analytics and the spin rate and all the computer things they've got out there now, it's allowed pitchers to understand more of the spin rate and manipulate the ball to do certain things that it quite honestly, if you've ever played wiffle ball, it's like, it's getting to that point where pitchers can do so many things with the baseball. And it's not just breaking balls. You're talking about throwing a two-seam fastball that's running late at a hitter that's 98 miles an hour. So I think they do need to get a handle on it. It's been going on for years. However, I think more than anything, I'm in tune with, Major League Baseball should not be able to tinker with the baseball every year, making it harder, making it have more, more where it carries more, or dummying it down where it doesn't carry as more, because then you're manipulating for the owners. You're manipulating how hitters make their living and get long-term contracts. So, for instance, if let's just say you've got 6 or 7 guys coming out this year that are free agents, that are position players, do the owners call Manfred up and say, oh, by the way, since we own Rawlings and we're making the baseball, don't make it so hard, because we don't want to see offensive numbers go through the roof so we can save money and not have to pay these players. And believe it or not, that's going on. I'm just telling you.
I don't dispute that at all, but I also say you can't allow a pitcher. We had Bob Carpenter on yesterday too. He was talking about this. So a guy, you take a guy, and you mentioned Bob Gibson before. Bob Gibson would throw a fastball in the mid-90s. Now his slider was in the upper 80s. So there was still separation, but you had a chance, if you guessed slider, to catch up with it. Now, because of Spider Tack, you can throw that slider into the 90s. And that's not supposed to be happening. And that's why you have to eliminate that ability to hold the ball longer or do whatever it does in order to increase movement and velocity. That's not right.
No, I'm 100% with you. I don't think it's right. I think they've got to stop it. They've got to, it's no different than, to me, it's cheating.
Bingo.
It'd be like, okay, let's go get a wooden bat and figure out a way to cork it where no one can detect it. Well, that's cheating. And so, Sammy Sosa got caught corking a bat.
He sure
There's
did.
Guys over the years that corked bats.
And then he couldn't remember English. Remember that?
Yeah, right.
And then couldn't see.
Yeah, they've got to clean it up for sure. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend. Can't wait to talk with you next Friday.
Enjoy.
All right, guys.
I hope you're right. I hope 5 SEC teams get in. It would make you a profit.
That would be. There you go.
There you go. Tim Doolin.
Thank you, Tim.
On baseball. Brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Weekends here. You're on your way home, or you're thinking about going home. You're going to take Poplar. Most likely, you're going to be in East Memphis. Most likely, Spirit Shop, Poplar and St. Nick, right down from Clark Tower, that little log cabin, 4646 Poplar, with everything you need for the weekend when it comes to spirits, from accessories to beer to premium tequila or vodka or gin or bourbon or scotch, whatever is going to tickle your fancy. Same thing with wines, premium wines or mid-range or even bargains. Some might be mid-range that are going to be superstars in a few years, just like, say, Silver Oak was or Cornerstone was. Eddie Connor and his family, they know what's on the market, what's in the store, what's going to be coming up, what might be a bargain right now. They'll steer you in the right direction. Whatever it is, they steer you the right way. All the great prices, the best service, family-owned, terrific people. That's the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. We come back. When we do, we'll have a couple of minutes. We got to ask our guy, Gabe Kuhn, what it would be like if you had to play 17 games as a 20-year-old sophomore or junior at the collegiate level, because that could be happening with this new college football playoff expansion. He'll give us the answer in just a minute.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
It's June and time for our anniversary sale here at Sunrise. Plenty of Buicks and GMCs in stock and coming. Don't see it on my lot? Reserve an incoming unit. Rates as low as 0%. Rebates up to $6,000. And over $11 million in used cars, late model, low mileage vehicles, certified cars, even vehicles under $10,000. We specialize in low payments and less than perfect credit. And check out the grand opening of our all-new truck corral. Over 75 trucks and SUVs in stock. If we don't have it, we'll find it for you. Memphis' only dedicated used truck dealership in the old Hummer building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. We make it fun to buy a car.
This year, make Dad's day with gifts from the Home Depot. Save on all the best ideas by shopping in-store or on the app. Choose from new innovative tools, top-rated grills, or even the latest smart cameras and devices for your home. Because what Dad doesn't love? New gear. The best gifts for the best dads. And you'll find them all at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. See store for details. Restrictions apply.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Attention all football players from 7th to 12th grade. Improve your game at the Memphis Big 300 Football Camp, June 18th and 19th at Blue Cross Healthy Place at David Carnes Park, corner of Whitehaven Lane and Fairfield Drive. Events include bench press, 40 and 25-yard dash, cone drills, broad jump, toolbox training, one-on-one competition, and more with instructions by former college and NFL players and evaluations by university and college coaches. You must register in advance at 313-492-3277.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
So in a couple of years, if you are anywhere from 5 to 12 and make the playoffs as a seeded team, you could play, if you got all the way to the final, 17 college football games. If those of you out there don't know, Gabe Kuhn was an offensive lineman for the U of M for good years. Good job, well done. Now with us, doing a great job.
How many college stars, Gabe?
51.
Which
51.
I
That's
believe,
a big number.
Was that the most by anybody?
It
at
was
one time?
when I got done, and then the next year it got broken, and the next year after that, another person tied. So 52 is the record.
52.
You set the bar.
So 52 is you're one off the record. That's pretty good. Do you think that you would have struggled any of your years? Because I don't buy this thing because they're that young. Personally, I think the younger you are, the easier it might be. The older you got so much wear and tear on you. Do you think you would have had a problem playing in 17 games? Had you had that opportunity?
I was absolutely blessed to not have a bunch of injuries in my collegiate football career.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In any season of football anywhere, in high school, you're going to have overuse injuries. That's just how it works. And some guys are going to handle those better than others. Now, I would venture to say a lot of people, if you had to play 17 games, which I think is going to be not all that likely, considering that it would have to be a 5 through 12 seed getting to the championship
exactly
to play 17 games. I don't think that's all that likely, but even 16 or 15, which we see now, is tough. So what I would say is there just needs to be adjustments made. And when you look at what they've done to fall camps, they've tried to make adjustments, less padded practices, what they do in the NFL.
Right.
They limit your full padded practices. I think that's something
more
that college
walkthrough and film work.
Exactly. That's something that college football could look into. And then, I mean, if it really became an issue to the point of, double the injuries by the time we get around to playing this many games, we could just say, okay, let's cut off a non-conference game. Cut off two non-conference
Are those championship games? That's not the budget line item they used to be.
Right, but even with that, I think I would rather cut some of the non-conference games
take
than
away
the championship.
Take away the Nickel State game this year and give me a championship game.
Take away FCS. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, that would cut into some of the FCS profits trying to get some of those bye games. But at the same time, I think we have a lot of ways to figure out how to make this thing better. I don't think we need to push the panic button because we may have people playing 16 or 17 games.
What was the most games you played in a single year?
It would have been
13?
13 because the one year we went to the championship in Orlando at UCF, we had a game rained out earlier that year. So we had to, I think, cancel
Georgia State rained out.
Georgia
UCF.
State. That's what it was.
Georgia State?
We had to make up the UCF game, and the Georgia State game got cut.
Canceled, right. That's exactly right. So 13 was the most.
So 13 was the most.
You think you could have played a 14th that year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But again, the
Tape
adjustments.
him up. He's ready.
He wants to go right now.
There have been adjustments made. And I have all the confidence in the world that if we need more adjustments to the schedule, if they need to figure out how to have less padded practices, they can do that.
I hear you. I think I'm with you. I may be making adjustments as I do research, again, for all of you. This Sunday, I'll be at Miramichi. I want to make sure that I'm steering you all in the right direction. And with the way the warmth is now, I mentioned as we started the show, we're going to see grass popping up like crazy. We're going to see plush fairways. We know the views are plush. 330 acres is what Miramichi Golf Course sits on. It provides you with 7,400 yards of championship-level golf. If you're young and you're strong, or if you're older like me, we can go down to 6,300, 64. There's 5 different tee boxes that you can tee it up, and you will absolutely love it. You'll love the natural beauty. You know, Golf Week said last year, best golf courses you can play state by state. Miramichi proudly listed. And I got to tell you, such a deal. $30 Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for seniors, including cart, range balls, practice area, everything you could possibly want. Even tomorrow and Sunday, $49, same deal. For everybody, not just the old guys. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, $49 with the cart, with the range balls, and that beauty and that wonderful place to go after the patio above 9 and 18. Get a cold one. They may have music playing there later tonight or tomorrow night. You don't even need to play to go up and enjoy that view and that full-service bar. Miramichi, a real gem just north of Memphis in Woodstock. There's 2 hours in the books. We come back for hour number 3. Normally we would talk with Andy Schiffman. We'll get him at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk more college baseball with Matt Wyatt from the Mississippi State Radio Network. He's next.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Do you hear My Computer Career ads and think, I don't know anything about computers? Well, you don't have to. Before starting, many graduates could turn a computer on and off. And that's it. Now they're IT pros. You could do it too. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time with Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on select Carrier Infinity systems. If you happen to need 2 new systems, that'd be up to $3,000 in Visa cards. Now that'd come in handy. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner to help remove dust from your home, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, you know, with Conway Services, we have easy payment plans with systems as low as $139 per month. Now you could do that. And you know, with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sportstime on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sportstime is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
The old Mississippi State quarterback, Matt White, will join us momentarily to talk about the Dogs and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this weekend in baseball down in Starkville. We'll also get a few football questions in from Matt. He will come your way after I tell you about FanDuel. And we've seen it today at Wrigley Field. We've all had that dream. Rizzo's had that dream. The tie game, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. It was about that scenario. Well, at FanDuel Sportsbook, you get more than one shot to swing for the fences because FanDuel's letting you place your first bet risk-free on any baseball. That's right. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. There's a reason FanDuel's America's #1 sports book. The app's easy to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets. The fight this weekend, all the basketball, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay and always-on promotions to let you get more action out of every single game day and game night. When you win at FanDuel, they pay you your winnings as little as 24 hours. They get your money that you've won fair and square back to you fast. have fun this weekend with the baseball, Cubs and Cardinals all weekend, and so many other great series. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. That's promo code CASH at FanDuel Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the good people down in DeSoto County at DeSoto Auto Sales. Visit their website, DeSotoAutoSales.com, and look at all those beautiful cars and read the testimonials and the referrals. And they do have unlimited inventory, and that's hard these days in the car business, but they have it at 5704 Goodman Road. Every make, every model. If it's not on the lot at DeSoto Auto Sales, they'll go find the car you want for you. You're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, and they care about your time. They know we live in a world that time really matters, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. Walk in, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed in 45 minutes or less, a guarantee. Unbelievable at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
It has been a busy day already, that is for sure. Brett, you mentioned the Cubs a winner, 8-5 over St. Louis, first game of 3 in Wrigley. The first time that the Cubs have had 100% capacity at Wrigley. It was rocking and rolling for sure on Chicago's north side. The Joker has knocked out Rafael Nadal 4 sets. And actually, Rafa won the first set, and then the Joker ended his the Rafa string. And for just the third time in his career, he lost. He was trying to get Grand Slam number 21, so he's stuck with Federer at 20, and it could be the Joker that'll end up being better than all of them. He moves on to the finals, couple of finals at the College World Series. In the Super Regionals, East Carolina falls to Vandy, so Vandy's 1 win away from making Omaha. Stanford is pounding Texas Tech 15-2.
In Lubbock.
In Lubbock, yeah, in the top
in
of the
oppressive
night.
heat.
Yeah, they look to be okay. They don't seem to be sweating too much. I'm watching a little bit of that. It'll be incredible atmosphere tomorrow in Fayetteville. It'll be incredible atmosphere in Knoxville for the LSU series. And I was just thinking about this, Matt Wyatt. The first time I, other than at SIU, when I was a student in the early 70s, really and truly there was some baseball craziness, nothing like you guys have with Ron Polk at Mississippi State. But you guys really were one of the first to do it in such a big, organized way. And I know it's got to be a hard ticket for this Notre Dame series that starts here.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, anybody they want in there will be in there. I don't know what the ticket situation is just because, if there's any left, but I kind of doubt that there's any hanging out there, the way these state fans approach it. And, considering you're in a fairly new ballpark, right? A fairly newly renovated ballpark that actually brought down slightly the number of seats, if you want to call them that, general seating and general admission, actually a little lower in the new park as opposed to the old one. So it'll be full tomorrow for sure, and one way or the other, it'll be busting at the seams on Sunday night also.
Refresh my memory here, though. This new ballpark, I know they've got these suites, but aren't they like apartments in the suites?
Yeah. People live in those, and I don't know all the details on them just because, frankly, they're a little bit above my pay grade. You know what I mean? It's not like I priced them out.
Come on, Matt. You didn't buy 2 and knock a wall out and make it 1.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. If you see me in there, Brett, I'm either invited or I snuck in. That's just all it is to it. But, yeah, they people live in those things year-round. They sure do.
What kind of tailgating scene tomorrow and over the weekend will it be?
Yeah, they'll get after it tomorrow, and I think the rain is going to sort of be out of there for the most part, which will, they'll be out there like sitting next to their RVs in the morning having breakfast when the sun comes up, sort of thing. That's the way it is if you've ever been to a state for one of these super regional deals. And really and truly, Brett, the party around the stadium, on campus, and in the RV lots would actually begin tonight more so, I think, if it wasn't going to pour down rain tonight. I live in Tupelo, and so I'm about an hour away, but we're still getting it. We've had sort of an unprecedented week of rain around here, but I think it's going to be out of here by tonight and into the morning so that they can get going. And they'll tailgate outside the stadium. Yeah, they are going to be ready. I had a guy calling in this week, and he was telling me how many whole chickens he bought and how many, pounds of sausage he had loaded up, and they were going to grill in the outfield. It's just a heck of a scene. Win or lose, it's a party. You know what, Brett? I come to think of it now that I say that, the Mississippi State baseball scene in the outfield kind of has the same theme that Ole Miss football had all those years with the Grove. Mm-hmm. Is we may lose the game, but we're not going to lose the party, and that's the same thing with baseball.
Winning the party matters, Matt. And the SEC places have all tapped in. Dave's right. State was at the forefront with LSU of really always attracting crowds and the party and the tailgating. But now everybody's kind of doing it. Missouri's probably lagging, but they're new to it, and they'll have to catch up. But, Matt, it just last weekend in Oxford on Saturday, just so many people in town. Mm-hmm. These campuses have become a magnet for retirees. They become the magnet for people wanting to go back to reminisce. And I mean everybody with the gear on, with the logo on, because it's that much pride and that much love in all these places.
That's right. And it gets them back to campus at a time of year where, like you said, Brett, not everybody got that. Over the last 25, 30 years or so, you could get people back on campus at some schools when you'd have your spring game, and have kind of your homecoming thing. But it's now becoming a full 3-month deal where weekend after weekend, people are enjoying coming back to your campuses because, one, the product is really good. Okay, you're seeing first-round draft picks on most of these SEC campuses, right? So the product's good. You're coming back into a town. People love the college campuses, and the stadiums are such a joy now as compared to, what they used to be. You just touched on that. It all kind of goes hand in hand. I was talking to friend Rick Cleveland recently for an interview in a piece that we did, and it included talking about how the facilities have grown. And he used Ole Miss as an example. He said when he started covering sports here in Mississippi, you go to a game at Ole Miss, and if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to walk 2 blocks back towards campus and find a classroom, that had one nearby.
The press box was the top row of the bleachers.
It was a top row of wooden bleachers. And now, look at that place. It is, you're talking 12, 13,000 in there every weekend, and suites, and luxury suites. And if you've never been inside of Ole Miss's team training facility, which is kind of built into the stadium on the first base side, I'm telling you, it's eye-popping when you go in there. So it's really incredible. And you know what, Brett? I wonder if you agree with this. When the SEC network came online in 2014, and it was going to provide this exposure for everything the conference does, and there were some knowns but some unknowns, I felt like at that time, football was already getting wall-to-wall coverage across the entire country. It wasn't like having the SEC network was actually going to give football more coverage than it was really already getting. And the same was sort of true for basketball. But, man, with the advent of the SEC network, fan bases have been able to stay in constant contact with their team, see all their games on their phone, and I think baseball had the most room to grow because of that added exposure that the SEC network has given them. And I think we look up in 2021, Tennessee's getting ready to invest and build. Vandy's got national titles. You look at the atmosphere at Arkansas, and it's growing.
Oh, yeah.
They could sell 5,000 more tickets to games in Starkville if they just had a place to put them. I think baseball's benefiting from the extra coverage.
I think that is astute. I hadn't thought about that until you just said it. But it's about that time where we see this incredible growth. And I think there's something to where folks want to be connected to their school. Most of the time, they've been connected to football because it's a day game, or you start early in the day on a Saturday, and the weather is still good. Basketball's a little tougher. It doesn't seem to have that kind of tailgating outside, but baseball, because of the weather, lends that sort of gravitas to it. So I think that's right. And you said something interesting. 25 or 30 years ago, the way these things were, and I watched Oxford grow because of retirees being really attracted to Oxford because college campuses have a small town feel, but plenty of culture. Whether you want music or you want lectures or sports or plays from the drama department, you've got it all right there in a little town that's safe. And I've seen Oxford grow from retirees, and I'm wondering, the only aspect that I've really seen from Starkville is like at West Point, Old Waverly, because I'll go there to play golf a bunch. Love going down there. Have we seen that sort of growth from retirees in Starkville?
Yeah, you're starting to see it. You really are. If you're ever down there, you can get on Montgomery Street. It runs north and south right through town. And you get on South Montgomery, kind of leads you away from campus. It takes you past where Starkville Academy is and out past the old Starkville Country Club golf course. And you start to see residentially what are some of the things that have been built out there. I mean, Roy Oswalt has got a place not far down there that he's built living there. And it's in an area where you've got, just like you're seeing in a lot of these other college towns, you're exactly right. You're seeing entire subdivisions that are a particular, not shotgun houses, but a particular type of neighborhood and homes that are built. Yeah, that's it. They're strictly targeting folks who've retired and want to be near that campus because they're going to go to all the ball games, and they don't want to have to drive 2 hours to do it. They want to drive 2 minutes to do it. And you're getting it in Starkville, too.
By no means, Matt, am I saying get lost, but in Fayetteville, in Starkville, in Tuscaloosa, I can get turned around now. I mean, I have to get my bearings recalculated, and of course, it helps with with the maps on your phone. But it has boomed. I thought after Mississippi State's performance at the SEC baseball tournament, and I even said this. I think I said it on these I know I said it on these airwaves. I would not have wanted to have been one of those Mississippi State players. I had a feeling he got them home and he wore them out for a day or two, and then, all right, let's get back to business, and you see how they rebounded last weekend.
That's it, Brett. And, the thing that I forget, I was listening to Chris Lamona's talk today. Somebody asked him about experience on his team and it being an advantage, and he said, well, with two guys that we've got experience, Tanner Allen and Rowdy Jordan, he said, but outside of those two, we really don't have anybody on our team playing for us who's been through this. And we forget that because COVID ended everybody's season last year. So, like, behind the plate, Logan Tanner, Cameron James out there on the left side of your infield batting third, all these guys that are in your lineup that you're counting on, we saw them for about 7 or 8 games at the beginning of 2020, but it got canceled. So it sort of knocked me back because I hadn't thought about it in those terms. They got 2 players who've been through the SEC tournament before. They got 2 who've, been in a regional or a super regional. And that includes both of their 1 and 2 starting pitchers, Bednar and McLeod. This was the first year that any of them faced SEC competition, pitched in a postseason, any of that. And so I thought, you know what? What happened to them probably as much as anything else is the regular season was over. They're 40-game winners or whatever it is. Everybody's telling them how great they are. You got 2 guys with any experience that have ever played in Hoover before, and that team, I think, went in there thinking it was just going to be a cakewalk and not realizing that you get into any kind of postseason at this level, and some of these 21 and 22-year-old juniors and seniors who realize they ain't got very many games left, they start turning it up a notch, and they learn that the hard way. And you're right, through the grapevine, Lamonis got their attention when they got back to town, and they played pretty well last weekend.
I got to ask you a little bit because Mike Leach was up here, and we've had the big news about the college football playoff expansion to 12 teams, which really helps teams like Memphis in the group of 5. What's the discussion in Starkville about the possible expansion?
Yeah, I think everybody kind of likes the possibility of being included in some of that, and I think that it's recent enough experience here where you had, if you go back to the initial playoff in 2014, where you had State and Ole Miss in the top 5 for a good part of the year. There for a while, State was ranked number 1. I think Ole Miss ranked number 2. It just showed you, it's 2 schools where you get the right quarterback with the right coach and the right schedule, you can have a run every now and then. And by doing so, if you've got a 12-team deal, it opens up the possibility that, hey, if you don't beat Alabama and go to Atlanta, you may still have a shot at getting in there, or at least being a part of the conversation in the talks. I think that's the reality of it. And you'd have to ask coaches. I'm sure coaches give you different answers. My perspective on it still is that however we have arrived at it, we got a Grand Canyon situation in college football. On one side of the Grand Canyon over there is Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State. And the rest of us are over here on this side of it. And that's not changing.
It's not a lot of fun.
It's not a lot of fun, and it's not going to, I don't know how you change it. I brought that up on on a show in Alabama, and they said, well, what do you think is the solution? I said, man, I ain't got a clue what the solution is. I don't think anybody else does either. But I'm just telling you what the situation is.
Well, I think opening up the gates to more people to be more inclusive
can't hurt.
It can only help. I'm not going to say that is going to put a scare into Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney at the moment, or for that matter, Ohio State, because I guess we got to throw them into the mix.
Yeah,
but the truth is, it can only help. I'm not sure that the knockdown to 85 scholarships was felt immediately, but 3 or 4 years in, it sure was.
Yeah, and you mentioned Memphis. That's one thing I like about it. I go back several years ago when UCF was undefeated and they get left out, and after that was over, I think I did. I looked at it and just kind of took inventory and said, you know what? They have no shot. Right now in the current setup with 4-team playoff, the way this is, I mean, UCF can go undefeated until the cows come home. They're not getting in.
No,
period. They're not putting them in. To even for those people who are decision makers in this thing, and there were a lot of really good people, Hancock and all, they're really good people, but for them to look us in the eye and tell us that a non-Power 5 or somebody from the AAC has a shot, the same shot as the Power 5 to get in the playoff. No, they don't. It's an insult to think that we would believe that. And they showed you that again this past year. So that's one thing I really like about it. In terms of the impact on middle of the pack SEC or middle of the pack Big Ten, I don't really know. I mean, I honestly feel like even at 4 teams, if you have the right quarterback and the right coach, you can make State or Ole Miss could make a run at the top 4 one year. But what I like is, if you're the best team in the AAC, if you're Memphis, if you're, UCF on a given year, if you're Cincinnati, this opens the door to you that right now with a 4-team playoff, the door is not open and the door doesn't exist.
Right.
That's one thing I like about it.
Well, and the other thing to your notion about the middle rung SEC or Big Ten teams, those teams now have a shot because there's no limit to the amount of teams a particular conference can get in. So you could get Ole Miss and Mississippi State in the same year with Alabama if everything worked out right.
Let's do it, Matt. I hope we live long enough to see it.
Yeah.
Well, and it can't. I think there's some hope, right, Brett? We'll hold on to the hope. We'll just do that because
we got close. We got close in 14 and 15.
we got close. And I know how, those seasons ended in 14. If you go back to 14 anyway, a couple of teams that were in New Year's Six Bowls here, State and Ole Miss both, neither of them won their bowl games. But still, I feel like you go back to that year, Brett, those were teams that, to bar a title on any given Saturday, you could have thrown them out there against somebody and beaten just about anybody. And it can happen again. And I think you guys are right that expanding it throws a little more hope to a few more teams and fan bases each year. And it can't be bad. It can only help.
No doubt. Hey, Matt, as always, we love chatting with you. We appreciate it. Have fun this weekend with this Notre Dame Super Regional, and we'll chat together again as we get closer to football.
We may not win the game, but we're going to eat some barbecue, boys. Have a great
That's
week.
a good mission.
You're going to have a good
fun,
time,
Matt.
no doubt about that. Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it. The NC State Wolfpack just scored on a towering home run to center field. Top of number 2 in Fayetteville, and NC State leads Arkansas, obviously very early, 1-0. This portion of the show is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That's the place to go to get the safest car on the planet. For the last few years, they've been tied for number 1 with another company for the safest product out there. This technology is so good and durable. Every new car gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Same thing with the Genesis car. Same building, same people. Teams that have been together for 13 years. You're going to get taken care of, too, because every new car is going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. They'll change your oil. They'll rotate your tires. They'll take care of you at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. And make it easy on yourself tonight on the way home. Get some commissary. You don't think your wife or your husband or your significant other, either way you look at it, you don't think they would not be happy if you walked in the house with some Germantown commissary ribs or pulled shoulder, maybe a little extra sauce on there, maybe some nachos, maybe tamales, maybe a cheese and sausage plate. There's so many good ways to go, and every time you pick something, it will be good, and it will be consistently good. It's always the same, which is great. And you got 2 locations. You can do it in Germantown or right there, the big place at Poplar and Houston Levy Road. You can drive through that one. You got to kind of go in and take out in Germantown. And don't forget to end the meal with either banana pudding or Brett's favorite icebox lemon pie. The commissary. Make it easier on yourself tonight and be a hero at home. The commissary. Back in a minute. When we return, we'll talk NBA with our agent in Chicago. That is Andy Schiffman, and he is next.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
This year, make Dad's day with gifts from the Home Depot. Save on all the best ideas by shopping in-store or on the app. Choose from new innovative tools, top-rated grills, or even the latest smart cameras and devices for your home. Because what Dad doesn't love? New gear. The best gifts for the best dads. And you'll find them all at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. See store for details. Restrictions apply.
Like
I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Wow, this Friday disappearing before our very eyes. A lot of baseball to be talking about, that is for sure, but I don't want to lose sight of the NBA playoffs. Philly and Atlanta tonight. That series knotted at 1 apiece. Phoenix and Denver. This one in the Mile High City. Can Phoenix put away Denver and go up 3-love? We'll find out tonight. I'm looking forward to that. That's a late game at 9 o'clock. In the meantime, we'll get our answers from Andy Schiffman. Boy, Phoenix sure looks good. And I have to ask you, just saw this article, and we've talked about Chris Paul, 36, and how good he's been. And he's looking like the MVP the way it's going now, over Jokic a little bit here. But my question for you is, at 36, he's got a $44.2 million option that people say he is going to decline to become a free agent to try to get a $100 million 3-year deal. Do you think he can get that, Andy?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I think the one place he can get it will be Phoenix. I don't see any other team investing long-term in Chris Paul that much money in terms of being a max player. Not to say his play is not valued that much around the rest of the NBA. I just don't see a team investing that much in someone of his age for 3 more years outside of Phoenix. I think it's a little bit risky to turn that option down, the $44 million.
Me too.
To hit the market, because he could end up right back at Phoenix. Now, behind the scenes, there could be a conversation already between Chris Paul's agent and the Phoenix Suns to talk about a safeguard to allow him to potentially go out and test the market, but then still have something in his back pocket with Phoenix. But he's just too valuable for the Phoenix Suns. The fact, you look at the game the other night when they won by 25 at home, 17 points, 15 assists, 0 turnovers.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know what? That's only happened, I want to say, 6 times in the NBA, and he's gotten them 2 or 3 of them. I think he's got 3 of them, half of them.
I mean, he is one of the all-time best, and he's definitely. I mean, he was not in the MVP conversation, Dave, really until the last month of the season. But you look at how much he's carried this Phoenix team, not only this year, but even in the bubble last year, and the fact that he's been doing it consistently. I think he just also, look, as a point guard, your job is also to make players around you better. And he's absolutely done that with DeAndre Ayton. I think he's absolutely done that with Mikal Bridges. Devin Booker was already considered a superstar, but he's definitely been able to share the basketball with Chris there. And Chris he can get buckets with the best of them, but he is going to make guys around him better. And you don't really see that oftentimes around other superstar point guards around the NBA. I mean, Trae Young, for sure, is the main catalyst for the Atlanta Hawks. For one, I don't think you're going to get better playing with Trae Young. He's going to put up big assist numbers. He's going to find guys, but he's a score-first point guard, and Chris Paul is just not.
And Andy, he's constantly, he always has the ball in his hand. We're not talking about a wing player that just catches it and has to shoot it. He's always the conductor.
He is. He just plays. I just love his game. He plays with such a good cadence. He reads the defense so well. He's never in a rush. Never is in a rush. He defends. He's a leader. Knows how to keep his cool. Just pick guys up. He's everything you'd want in a point guard, in a veteran point guard, and that is exactly why the Phoenix Suns are where they are right now. And I think absolutely, I think they could win in Denver tonight in Game 3.
So if it is Phoenix and Utah, and say it's Utah without Mike Conley, which seems to be more and more the case. I hate that for Mike, and I hate that for Utah.
With the team today. He did make the trip to L.A.
Well,
so I think
I'm glad to hear that. But if it's those two, who do you lean toward?
Well, I've been a Utah fan all season, just the way they play. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
The way they space the floor with shooters, the way they have so many good decision makers out of the pick and roll, the fact that you do have Rudy Gobert, a DeAndre Ayton, Rudy Gobert matchup would be really fun to watch. That's a really tough call. I'm not going to definitively say, oh, well, I'd go with Phoenix or go with Utah. That would be a really, really interesting matchup. You see what Donovan Mitchell's done this playoffs. The Jazz have lost one game, and it's the one game where Donovan was out against the Grizzlies. That's a tough one. I honestly don't know who wins that one. I think that one for sure goes 7 games. But, hey, I also said that about this Phoenix-Denver series, and Phoenix has just been steamrolling them the first 2 games.
Andy, I don't want to get you in trouble with anyone, but give me a coach that has really distinguished himself in these playoffs. I'm not asking for the other side. Just give me one that has stood out in these playoffs.
I'll give you one that hasn't. Go ahead.
I know.
I
Michael Malone. Andy didn't say it, though.
No, for sure. Nate McMillan with the Hawks. I think no one – they came in. They were underseeded. They were the 5th seed against the Knicks. They beat the Knicks. They came in with the relatively healthy Joel Embiid in Game 1 last Sunday in Philadelphia that I was actually at that game, and a crazy atmosphere. The first time in a 76ers game this season they had 100% capacity, and Atlanta owned that game for 98% of it until the very end, where they just made some bonehead plays and got complacent a little bit. But I would for sure say Nate McMillan.
Can Atlanta win that series?
I think so. I do think so. It gave me confidence to see, if you're a Hawks fan, to see them beat the Sixers in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid playing in Game 1. If he was still out and he didn't play that first game, I'd say, well, you're not really beating them at their best. And you saw last game in Game 2, they had so many runs and moments where they were chipping away after being down early, and now you've got the momentum of being at home tonight in Atlanta. This game's about to kick off here in a little bit, in like an hour or so, and I think that fuels the Hawks. I absolutely think they could beat Philadelphia. I'm not going to be surprised if Philadelphia wins, but I absolutely think Atlanta can beat Philadelphia.
Andy, I got hit with this week with the couple Woj bombs and the linkage of Coach Penny Hardaway potentially to Orlando job. I don't think he's going to take it. I think he'll be coaching the Memphis Tigers next year. But someone asked me, said, why? What's it based on? I said, I think they see how hard he gets his teams to play, and he knows that culture. That matters. Both of those things matters, especially over that 82-game sojourn we're going to get back to next year, and we're going to get back to it October 19th, much earlier than I ever dreamed of.
Me too. No, I think first off, to your point, Brett, I think the fact that we're back on track for a regular start is phenomenal. I thought the very best we would do is maybe push the season back next year to 2 weeks after the normal start. So maybe you're starting the second week in November. It's great to have the season back on track. It doesn't seem like there's been a lot of pushback from the Players Association on this, like there was last year with the shortened amount of the off season. So it's exciting, and the fact that we're ending the season and going into the playoffs here with full arenas filled to capacity, that gives you a lot of optimism for next season. Just be like a normal season, all things considered. But look, Penny is always going to be a name now that he's got some higher level coaching under his belt with University of Memphis, I think he always is going to be a name to be considered for an NBA job. Now, is he going to be at the top of the team's list? Probably not. Well, I think I do know that he's had conversations and he's in the mix for a couple of these jobs. I don't necessarily think he's going to get one this season, but you see this quite often where a new NBA head coach or prospective NBA coach flirts with teams in one offseason. All of a sudden you look up 1 or 2 years later and they get their chance and they're named head coach of an NBA team. And I think that is the path. I think that is likely for Penny. I don't really see it happening right away. I could be wrong, but it's great if you're Penny to be considered for one of these jobs. And look, you can sit there and say if you're a Memphis fan, well, he hasn't really had a whole lot of success at the University of Memphis. He hasn't brought him to the tournament and just, had some big-time recruits left after a year. But, okay, all that aside, he's still Anthony Hardaway. He still has massive NBA pedigree. He's liked around the league. He's respected around the league. And, again, now he's just got that extra feather in his cap of coaching a major Division I program that whether or not he's winning or not, I think NBA personnel and ownership and GM see that. And for sure, he can relate to NBA players just like he talked about. So I think he's always going to be, moving forward now, I think he's going to be a name considered for a lot of openings.
I think some writer or columnist wrote about him as somebody they should look at because of his connection to that town. And that town loves him, and they do. And I think he enjoyed living there.
Sure.
So but we had Penny on the air and talking about it, and he basically said, I'm flattered. I might be interested in an NBA job down the road, but I still have business to do in the 901. And I think that was pretty much the direct comment, and right. I think we're all going to take him for his word. Since we brought up Penny, the only coach in the history of basketball that has won an NBA title, an NCAA title, and an Olympic gold medal as a coach is Larry Brown. At 80 years of age, rumors are swirling here that Larry could become his Penny's Tex winner or Phil Martelli, that what he did for Juwan Howard at Michigan this year.
Sure.
What would your thought process on that particular possibility be?
Well, I think that's a huge addition for Penny on whatever staff he's on, whether it's coming to the University of Memphis or if he does get an NBA job, and having someone like Larry Brown in your corner as a quote-unquote consultant, just as another basketball mind to bounce ideas off of. There's no arguing the success, right, that Larry Brown has had. I know him because he coached a team in Italy last year. We dealt with some players on, and he's still sharp as anything when it comes to the X's and O's in just a game of basketball. And I think that is only going to benefit a staff, that whatever staff Penny's in charge of. So I think that's hugely beneficial to have someone like that in your corner.
You do it, and Penny and the administration can run the interference for the NC issues, and he's had them. They're legion. There's not anybody out there that's plugged into this radio show or plugged into college basketball that doesn't know about the Larry Brown missteps at places, a couple of places, but also he's not going to be the front man. He's going to be an assistant.
Exactly.
The head coach is Penny Hardaway. You do the deal.
Exactly. And look, he's lived through mistakes here and there, and he knows what he can be doing. And look, at the end of the day, if you're Penny Hardaway and you're the head coach, it's on you to, quote unquote, instruct, control your staff, whatever phraseology you want to use. You're the head honcho, you're the captain of the ship. That responsibility falls on you for managing your program. But Larry Brown is not a novice at this. He's not someone that hasn't coached before, and now he's potentially taking a side seat, we'll say. He's not the head coach, just like you said. So I wouldn't use that as any knock on him to discount him from being able to offer his brilliant basketball mind and ideas for any basketball staff. I think that's only going to make a staff better if you can have access to him.
Last thing for our agent in Chicago, always enjoy chatting with you, Andy, and that has to do with another questionable coaching job, I thought, last night, particularly on the Milwaukee side. I don't understand why they went away from Giannis down the stretch. They were able to win that game. That was the ugliest game of all the NBA
That was the Dale Brown freak defense
that I have seen. Yeah, both teams were playing hard defense. I'll give them that, but I don't understand why the reluctance to go to Giannis down the stretch, and it almost cost them. They were able to win that game, but even without James Harden, I don't see how Milwaukee beats the Brooklyn if they continue to play like the way they played last night.
Yeah, I thought Brooklyn was even going to win last night. I thought after Durant hit that three, it was over, and then Drew Holiday comes back and makes that great play.
Yeah.
I don't know either, Dave. Maybe you're thinking, well, Giannis was 4 for 9 from the free throw line. You don't want to risk having the ball in his hands and then being sent to the line. He was obviously cold as ice from 3. Chris Middleton had an unbelievable game, scored more points in the first half than he did in both of the first 2 games combined in this series. So it's not just like Giannis is out there on an island. We can't forget Middleton. We can't forget Drew Holiday. So, look, and Bruce Brown, obviously, the play he made at the end, the shot he took, didn't play to their favor. Unfortunately, my guy, Joe Harris, picked the wrong game to go 1 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
So he hits one of those shots, gets him going completely different ball game. But I'm with you. I still think Brooklyn's going to win, maybe in 6, but I still think they're going to win. I don't know if there's a team out there that can beat Brooklyn. Even as much as I'm a big Phoenix fan and a big Utah fan, even without Harden, I don't know if there's a team that can beat them in a 7-game series. I don't think Brooklyn's going to win the championship in a sweep. Whoever they're playing, they're not going to win in 5 games. I think it's going to come down to the wire. But if you're talking about a 7-game series, if you have a Durant, if you have a Kyrie Irving, and you have a supporting cast that's knocking down shots, they didn't really get that last night. But if you do, then I think they're going to be really, really difficult to beat, no matter what Phoenix is doing or what Utah is doing.
Going to be fun to watch, that's for sure.
Or Denver or the Clippers.
Yeah.
These series obviously aren't over yet.
We will talk with you about that possibility next Friday. Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
Sounds good. Y'all too.
That is Andy Schiffman. He's brought to you by Grind City Brewing and Tiger Tail. That is that beautiful craft malt liquor, the official craft beer of the U of M that started off just being one of the great products of Grind City, but the only place you could get it would be their tap room in their brewery in Uptown. And now it got so good and people started finding out about it. It went to places like the Spirit Shop, Eddie Connor's place, Poplar in St. Nick. Now you can get it in Kroger. That's how much people have loved this crafted, beautiful malt liquor. It's unlike any other malt liquor you've ever had. It's got a smooth flavor. It's got some boldness that's crafted in, 7.5% alcohol, and a finish so easy that it just goes down. So wonderful. It just is easy drinking. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing taking care of beerness in Memphis. We'll pause for just a second. When we come back, it's going to be Taco Bell Crunch time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
This year, make Dad's day with gifts from the Home Depot. Save on all the best ideas by shopping in-store or on the app. Choose from new innovative tools, top-rated grills, or even the latest smart cameras and devices for your home. Because what Dad doesn't love? New gear. The best gifts for the best dads. And you'll find them all at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. See store for details. Restrictions apply.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior, complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We beat you with the deal, we get in fame.
Arkansas is taking a 3-1 lead, bottom of the second in Fayetteville. They are going nuts. What a crowd. What an atmosphere.
Already a world record for calling the Hogs through 2 innings.
I bet. And we got a long way to go. It's fun. It's this College World Series, the whole tournament now, it just has taken on a whole new life in the last few years. It's great. It really is. Before we get to crunch time, I'll let you know this final portion of the show brought to you by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the wonderful, beautiful, endless, tankless water heater. You never run out of hot water. You save money on your energy bill because you only pay for the water you use. That's it. It only goes on when you're heating water. And you can go forever. Like you can have the dishwasher going, the washing machine going, Aunt Thelma running her shower, and you at the same time. I mean, it never runs out. It's incredible. And right now it's so darn easy to get. It's as low as $79 a month. John says I'll give you $250 for the old tank water heater too. And you know these things are efficient, 98% efficient. When a heater with a regular tank is new at 65% efficient. This is the way to go. Just call John, 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. It's officially crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
Boop!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Learned today, Dave, Russell Wilson trying to rewrite history. He wanted out, and now he's copying this Mr. Team guy. I think he is Mr. Team guy, but he was weighing his options. Don't act like he wasn't.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He'll be fine.
He said it was overblown. Are you kidding me? He was begging to become a Bear. And they just said, wait, we're going to get Justin Fields. Hold on right there, old-timer. I learned a couple of things just happening. Joe Salisbury, is that name familiar to you at all? Joe Salisbury is a former University of Memphis tennis player. He's originally from the UK. He took Memphis to the 2013 American Athletic Conference Championship and the NCAA quarterfinals, and today he won his second Grand Slam. He and an American named Desiree Krawczyk won the French Open mixed doubles. He's won a doubles and a mixed doubles now in his still young career. Congratulations to Joe Salisbury. And this just came over. Katori Hall, she's a young lady from Craigmont High School. She won the Pulitzer for her book, The Hot Wing King. She's just incredible. She's a two-time Tony nominee. She's involved in the play on Broadway that involves Tina Turner. She's won an Olivier Award. She's something else. Congratulations, Katori Hall.
Dave, could have done without all the Michigan allegations and stuff this week and the Bo Schembechler stuff. The Big Ten news, it's always more than just your run-of-the-mill college football scandal. It's not clothes or cash or cars, and SEC does all that. It's always really, really, really sordid. So Bo was zero-time national championship coach, and now we know him to be alleged by his own son to be a monster.
A monster. If Matt Schembechler's allegations are true, I have no reason to doubt them, honestly. Just awful. Awful. I could have done without the news today. Pascal Siakam, who I enjoy watching.
Critical to them winning it 2 years ago.
Oh, no question. Well, he's not going to be able to play at the beginning of next year. It's shoulder surgery today, so that'll keep him out for the rest of the year. I know you're going to be busy watching a bunch like the Cubs and the Cardinals the rest of the weekend, right?
Yes, in college baseball, and also Padres-Mets at Citi Field. That's two good teams. DeGrom goes tonight, doesn't he? We got to watch his ERA.
Yeah, well, and I know you'll be in Fayetteville watching that. Ole Miss in Arizona, LSU, Tennessee, all kinds of College World Series stuff. That is for sure. Should be a lot of fun. I'm even going to watch a little bit of the golf, I guess,